On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, Matt and Nick will move into skeleton crew mode as they prep you for the upcoming launch of the series on Disney+. What do they want to see as fans, and what are they predicting we will get as Star Wars soothsayers? These dopey dudes will get your mind prepped for the show's debut on 12/3. They'll also touch on some troubling Star Wars movie news and who director Krennic may clash with in Andor Season 2. Of course, they'll end the show with the Question of the Week responses and the latest round of Top 5 Star Wars fan artist features. Punch it, Chewie.
Hey, now, buddy. I'm trying, people. It's gonna be a bit of a slog today, especially since I got to pull solo duty again with Nick getting called into a last second meeting. Last week he was sick. This week he's in meetings, and yes, I feel like ass. I think I contracted the flu here. As you can tell, we ain't got lights on down here because I'm not trying to have that spotlight shining into my face as I do this show. So, hey, listen, I'm here. I'm committed. I'm going to do my best to bring you something entertaining over the next 2.5 hours. You never know what's going to happen. Hey there, Be Mad. We appreciate you, buddy. What are we coming up with? Be Mad wants to start the show with a quick rap about Skeleton Crew. Well, I'll tell you what, Be Mad, we actually have 2 planned topics about Skeleton Crew, so we appreciate your super chat. But I'm going to go ahead and we'll be spending plenty of time, probably well over an hour, talking Skeleton Crew. We've got clips, we've got planet information, we've got directors of episodes, we've got our wants, we've got our predictions. You might as well call this a Skeleton Crew pregame and shit. Woo! All right. We can do this, right? We can do this. That's what I keep telling myself. We can do this. Yeah, Matt Solo on deck. Here we go. Thank you, Bango. Welcome to be here. Don't leave your house. You can get ill, even if you're jabbed up. So the old real job took me to a high school this week to observe a class, and I'm pretty sure that's where I picked up whatever form of AIDS I have right now. So bear with me. I'm feeling a little bit better. I mean, the moment I fired this up and went live, it was like, all right, we're here. It's Star Wars time. There's always time for Star Wars time, as we like to say in our little club of friends. But I'm not gonna lie, if it's some work to put this mask on today and smile. I may have to turn the light on because I don't like how dark this looks anyways, but we'll see. Look at my man Grogu. He looks good in that pink light. All right, my friends, let's do this while we wait for young Nick to come. I'll go through a little pop culture stuff. We'll see if he gets here in time for Ask Us Anything. But today is a day where I don't really think I'm going to be farting around and trying to delay stuff. Thanks, Be Mad. I am the tannest, most whitest guy on the planet, so appreciate it. I'm usually pretty pasty, you know what I mean? If we fire up that light, we'll see my whiteness. Ready? This is my superpower. White man! White man! Look at that. No tan now, right, buddy? Yeah, I don't know if I can stare at this light for too long, so I'm going to go back to no light. Sorry for the low light here on the stream. But hey, while we're here talking about the stream, if you've ever wanted to join to check it out, to see what it looks like to have 2 elderly bald men with beards talking about Star Wars, why don't you try it out? Wednesdays, 5 p. East, or as close as we can get. YouTube.com/Star Wars Time Show. All right, let's get right to it. A little pop culture talk, okay? We got a little pop culture in us here. Checked out some movies for you. Starting with the good old Red One from, this dropped last week. This is The Rock's, Dwayne Johnson's, whatever you want to call him, Christmas movie. It was supposed to come out last year, but, you know, we had all the strikes and whatnot. Costs like $230 million to make. They're probably going to lose money, but I will tell you, I enjoyed this. I really liked Red One. Okay. I enjoyed Red One. I found it to be a different type of Christmas movie. It's as action oriented as a Christmas movie can get. That's not rated R. You know, I mean, I love the movie that came out was a year or two ago with David Harbour as Santa Claus, and it's a rated R, basically just gore fest, murder fest. That's not what Red One is, but it is a very Dwayne Johnson action movie inspired type of Christmas film. I think J.K. Simmons as Santa Claus is a unique call because the dude's quite jacked for an old man staring at clouds. But that kind of plays into some interesting revelations about how Santa delivers the gifts throughout the planet. That kind of makes you believe, like, yeah, you know what? Santa probably would have to be pretty fucking jacked to do that. But I dug it. Like I said, Chris Evans is in it. Lucy Liu's in it. We're getting asked, did Chris Evans save the movie? Yeah, I mean, he's not bad. I think everyone's good in this movie. Like I said, I enjoyed this flick. It's probably a 7 out of 10 for me. It's worth going to the theaters for with all the special effects and action beats. But if you can think about a rock action movie wearing Christmas clothes, that's what Red One is. So I think everyone did a good job. Yeah, Nova, there's one thing early on, the very first scene, and they do kind of correct it where they potentially, you know, peel the cover back a little bit on the legend. But I took my 8-year-old and she absolutely loved it. So it's kid appropriate. They keep the dream going. You know, the man's out there, the legend of the man. Plus, you also get kind of deep into, you know, for lack of a better description, Saint Nicholas lore. I mean, they weave in the ice witch that I'm sure has been told in certain cultures around Christmas time. They weave in fucking Krampus. So you know, if you're down with the holiday season, if you like the Christmas story, the legend of all these mythical beings, I think there's worse movies to go check out. So I'm a proponent of Red One. I know a lot of people get sick of Dwayne. For some reason I can't. Like I'm such a Dwayne Johnson homer, and this goes back to the Attitude Era of WWF before that fucking Wildlife Foundation screwed up their call letters. But this guy, Dwayne, The Rock, whatever you want to call him, I don't know. This dude's just entertained me now for, easily 20 years, you know, so, or close to it. And I know he's a bit much. He's a little loud, over the top, always promoting stuff, always positive, and that kind of rubs people the wrong way. But hey, for a dude that has achieved the success he has, his ability to keep grinding and working out the way he does, good for him. You know, good for The Rock. So there's Red One. I say go check it out. It's only in theaters to start. I don't know if it's going to end up in Netflix or not. I think at one point in time it was attached to Netflix. But currently, you got to go to the movies to check it out. All right, I actually caught a movie last night, and some of you are probably well more in the know about this story. The best Christmas pageant ever. You know, obviously coming from someone that is allergic to words and shit, doesn't really read a lot. I had no clue that this was like a classic story to be read or told at Christmas. It's based on a book by Barbara Robinson, and it tells the story of a small American town that kind of makes a big deal out of their Christmas play at the church every year. Some stuff happens to where a new director has to take over, and then the neighborhood shithead kids get involved, and all sorts of hijinks ensue. You know, I didn't quite understand how far this story leans into Christianity and the Christmas story. So I'm not going to lie. When I was watching it, I was, getting the shakes a little bit, remembering all those many Saturday nights at Christmas Eve Mass. As a kid, just wanting Santa to come and get my fucking presents and having to sit there and listen to the same damn sermon and gospels and homilies and the fucking songs and you know, the nativity scene. So there's a little bit of Catholic upbringing PTSD while I was watching this movie. And they definitely, like I said, it's all about the baby Jesus and this and that and the other thing. So if religion being shoved in your pie hole, your eye holes is a little too much for you, I don't know. This movie, it might be one too many mentions of Christianity and Jesus. But I found it to be a heartwarming tale. I think it's a true story, or maybe sensationalized true story, and I think it overall gets a good message across about the holidays and the importance of Jesus' story with Christmas and all that stuff. So I'm all about that. All right, getting some questions here from the streamers here. Be Mad asking me, Matt, please tell me the priest didn't get you. I don't know. Like, I don't think it happened to me, Be Mad, but if you look up some of the scandals in the Catholic Church, the Pittsburgh Diocese, where I was a part of, was one of the worst for boy manipulation. So all I can say is I don't remember it. If something did happen, then my brain did what it needed to do and blacked that shit out. So there's that. Bango asking me, did you have to act in the nativity play during Mass? No, thank goodness. My mom did not push it to the point where I had to be an altar boy and all that dumb shit. But someone in here, I think, has probably been in the nativity scene, and that's this guy right here, Rory Smith, the one wishing Jesus a happy birthday. He also was conditioned as a young lad to love him some Jesus. So there you go. The best Christmas pageant ever. I'd wait for this to come home, watch it with the crew. If you're really into Christianity and the story of Jesus, you're gonna fucking love it, I think. If you just like a good story about humanity, you're gonna dig it. Okay, just be prepared. Lots of Jesus, lots of Christmas story references will be thrown at your devil worshiping faces. Looks like Bango hit the Scranton Diocese, and they also had, as they're saying, a long list of motherfuckers too. And luckily, like me, Bango dodged that bullet. Yeah, go Catholic Church. And an update, since everyone's someone on the Star Wars Time show, Rory Smith did not have to participate in the nativity scene, so bless his little soul. All right, so you know what? While we're waiting on Nick, let's start doing some of the low-hanging fruit news here, because I do like saving Ask Us Anything for my pal. Hopefully he'll be coming on here in about 15 minutes or so. You never know these days with young Nick. I got my Skype open. I'm just hoping we hear that bell. Ring that bell, if you know what I mean. Oh, well, it looks like we're going to play this game to where my browser is not updating between the vertical live and the desktop. I even tested it. See, I do try to test this stuff, my friends. Sorry for those on the audio podcast. I know I'm just burning hot air right now, but let's get into this. This just actually dropped today. This kind of came out of nowhere. Apparently, Disney is hosting some APAC content showcase. So we got a new logo for Mando and Grogu movie, which to me looks just as busy and shitty as the first one, so who cares? But we did get the announcement that Star Wars Visions is returning in 2025 for its third volume, or as we call it in America, its third season. So not a lot of details here outside of who's going to be involved and when I think this is going to come out. So for the details we got today, Volume 3 coming out in 2025, that's all we know. I will say this. If you consider that Star Wars Celebration is going to be in Japan next year in April, I'm pretty sure they're going to hold Visions at least until then. And it may debut during Celebration, or fans at Celebration will have the opportunity to join a Visions panel and possibly see a couple episodes, if not all 9 shorts. If it does not release during Celebration Japan in full, then I think they're going to do what they've done in the past with at least Volume 2, and this will be our May the 4th treat. Seems the past few years, Lucasfilm and Disney has been willing to give us a bonus for May the 4th. So I think we should be getting Visions Volume 3 April during Celebration. If that doesn't happen, for sure, May 2025. You know what? There's no way we're going to get it in April, now that I think about it. And we may not even get it in May now, because, what did we learn last week, everyone? Come on, Matt, you idiot. Andor's dropping April 22. So are they gonna double dip? I know, they're not the same level of franchise. One's live action, one's shorts, all released at once. It's not episodic. But Disney has here we go. I told you. Yay, disease. So that maybe they'll do what they did with Visions Season 1, which I believe was a fall 2021 release. Okay. I totally forgot Andor, and unless they're willing to double up, which I think they will. Look for this in the spring, early summer. So the only other interesting news of note, if you remember, Volume 1 featured all Japanese anime studios. Volume 2 changed the formula up a little bit. And it went to studios around the world. I mean, we had studios from Japan, India, the UK, Ireland, Spain, Chile, France, South Africa, South Korea, the States. With Volume 3, they're returning to the original formula. So we're going back to all Japanese animated studios. And these studios, some of you will probably know. I'm not that deep into the anime scene, but we have returning studios and new studios. So the returning Japanese anime studios for Vision Volume 3, we got Kamikaze Douga, Kinema Citrus Co., Production I.G, and Trigger. The 5 new anime studios will be Anima in co-production with Kamikaze Douga, David Production, Polygon Pictures, Project Studio Q, and Wit Studio. So like I said, some of those anime houses may stand out to you if you are into that scene. I'm in the Star Wars. There's always time for it. And I have really appreciated the Vision series as a whole. I think Volume 1 was greater than Volume 2. But I think both seasons featured some really unique takes and stories on the Star Wars universe, which I'm a huge fan of. Especially all of us, we've been doing it on this show. You've probably been reading about it on other sites. We're all like, oh, Star Wars needs to do something new. Star Wars needs to get away from the Skywalkers. Star Wars shouldn't use females or people of color to do anything, because then we'll go ape shit and try to light them on fire. And here we go. We got Visions. I mean, Visions is exactly what fans are craving, even though certain fans will probably still bitch about it not being real Star Wars because, it's not canon or this, that, or the other thing. So Visions Volume 3, it's a thing coming out in 2025. If they want to butt it up against Andor, I think we are going to get Volume 3 May the 4th. If they don't want to butt up against Andor, I think it's going to be end of summer, early fall, October-ish type of release for Visions Volume 3. Yeah, B-Mad, you like that? Just I throw in those little zings there. With Nova's saying, all Japanese studios with Celebration Japan kicking off could get us trailers at the very least. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Toymation. You're for damn sure going to get a sneak peek, if not an episode or two, screened at Celebration. All right, where we'll get a trailer at minimum. I don't know what they're thinking in. Could Volume 3 of Visions cannibalize some Andor? I don't think so. So that's why I'm still leaning towards May the 4th gift. If that doesn't happen, then, like I said, look for it September, October, because all we got next year, and maybe this is the animated series that was being teased, but all we have is Andor, and it looks like this at this point in time. So Nick his dream is being realized. We're probably only going to get 2 Star Wars shows in 2025. And now, one less movie in 2026, which we're going to talk about next, after I clear this nose hair out of my face cavity. Hold on. I know that price sounds awesome. I apologize. But there's really not much you can do when you're live. I mean, I guess I could just start blowing it into my sleeve. This is how you also know I'm not tip-top. I'm wearing a fucking hoodie. I never wear a hoodie down here because when I'm on Star Wars time, you know, my system's kind of amped up. So I usually get extreme pit stains and all that fun sweaty stuff. You know, butt gets a little hot. My anal cavity is probably increased in temperature. But today with the chills coming and going and hot flashes, I was like, you know what, I'm going to wear a hoodie. And I even think this hoodie, it may be a female cut, but that's how I roll. I like small stuff. Yeah! Speaking of small stuff, holy shit, I don't think Bat's in here, but that motherfucker over in our Discord, which if you want to join, we'd love to have you. We've got an open invite link. It should be in the description of the stream right here. So go click on it and come in. But Bat shared Columbia's Star Wars collection. So if you're not familiar with what that is, I mean, hell, I should just pull it up. This is worth talking about while we're waiting for Nick. I don't want to share too much because I don't want to be competing with you motherfuckers come December 5th. But look who is the theme of this year's Star Wars collection at Columbia. That is right. My fucking hero, killer of kids, Darth Vader. Look at this. Screw you, Bat. I remember I unsubscribed from Columbia to try to avoid these types of temptations, and I still can't avoid it because people like Bat walking around with their heroin kits, handing out spoons, rubber bands, and syringes to us fellow collectors. And yes, it is collecting, even though you wear it. But look at these beautiful things. I mean, I'll tell you right now, if I was taller, I'd be going for this Vader 3L interchange jacket. But on a 5'6" individual, I'm not trying to have my jacket go down to my ankles. All right, that already make me look like a toolbox. I already look like an idiot. These shoes right here, yeah, I think I'm gonna add these to my boot collection. I mean, come on, look at those bad boys. Vader boots, slip-ons. Get real, people. I mean, this is some beautiful stuff. So I've got the boots on my list. I've got, check this out, the Vader convertible jacket. Look at this beaut. Look at this. And I'm definitely going standard. Look at that. Look at that. Screen accurate fabric. You can even zip off the sleeves to make it a vest. You got that thermal insulated shiny red shit on the inside with Vader's control panel. Yes, I am a sucker to those of you that are sitting there going, wow, this guy really is a dope. He'll buy anything. So I'm getting that. I'm going to get the hoodie. If you get anything, people, get the hoodie. These hoodies will last through the apocalypse. They're essentially wearable jackets. And look at this one. The all black one is tits. I'm not so huge a fan of the Rogue one. And I think the other one I might shoot for is this half zip long sleeve. My favorite thing here, if you look, all the zippers are fucking lightsaber handles. Okay? Does it get any better than this? Does it get any better than this? Yeah, Bat's going for the sweatshirt, Divided Skywalker. Yeah, I should get a promo code, but I can't even get press badges anymore to GalaxyCon in Columbus, Ohio. So our numbers are not high enough to warrant any freebies here at the show, unfortunately. Listen, Zachariah Tariq. Yeah, welcome to Star Wars' Columbia collection. The prices are ridiculous. What I will tell you, though, these always sell out. So there is a strong aftermarket, okay? If you want to make some cash or just save one for a Star Wars friend and not be an asshole. But you can typically flip the Columbia collection because they do sell out. But Zachariah Tariq, you are not wrong. Yeah, Mike, I'm feeling all right. Like I said, once I started talking, my brain has kind of shifted into SWTS host mode, so I think I'm going to be able to get through this. The voice is definitely going to be ripped up because I already had the lecture this morning, and I'm feeling most of it right there at my that little throat indent we all have at the bottom of our throat holes. All right, see you, Bango. Yeah, BMAT, it's clean as fuck, dude. So these go on sale, I believe, December 5th, and these will sell out, especially if you have to wear bigger sizes. I'm usually safe with the smalls or extra small, but normal sizes like large and XL, those are going to go quick. So make sure to set a timer. Hey there, Joey C. Good to see you, my cuz. All right, so that was a little side tangent there. Still no Nick. Let me check on our chat to see. Yeah, nothing yet. So hopefully he'll be on his way. But while we wait, let's just keep going through the news here, and then we'll get into Ask Us Anything, and then kind of move into our special topic. This is going to be a short show today, so those of you that usually can't stay for the full 2.5 hours, you might be able to make a full episode this week. Hey there, Johnny Osage, entering the chat. We love us some Johnny O. Johnny's got some sweet beer steins in his Instagram posts. I actually think my mom and dad used to have the one stein that you had in the background of your Blue Man Kenobi post. See? I see everything you motherfuckers put out there. Do you all see what I put out there? I think not. Bat's asking, hey, Matt, I'm between large and XL. Like it baggy. Oh, yeah, definitely stay large. I'll try. Like I said, I mean, it gets too fucking hot down here because I've got internal temperature issues. I've always kind of burned hot, but I should try to wear one of mine. I've got the Boba Fett one, the Jedi one, and then last year, it's fucking bright orange with a white patch. It's like the Hoth Rebel Pilot collection. So, oh, look at this. Jason Young. We haven't seen Work More or Less here in a long time. Good to see you there, Jason. We've been watching your career with great interest out there designing shit at cons, making Ninja Turtles, packaging and stuff. It's good to have some of the old people back in here. Well, hey, busy's good, Jason. Busy's good. All right, so let's get into some of this news. You might have heard about this stuff this week. Or last week. I got a little bit lazy and just have like a compilation post of engaging Star Wars news that, may be on your mind or you might have heard about, possibly told the wrong thing. So let's get these things cleared up. That's right. There's always time for Star Wars time, as Jason is saying here. This is a post that we used Artificial Scott and Sally, at least to talk about the Rey movie news. So if you've become a fan of Artificial Scott and Sally, our official artificial intelligence hosts, their latest episode is now live. I know League has become a big fan of Artificial Scott and Sally. She's actually named Scott. He was Bob to start, but she said he must be a Scott, and League gets what she wants. I am planning to do, and this was a request by League, because, hey, this is probably a good time to cut a promo for our YouTube channel memberships. But League is in our Dark Lord of the Sith tier, so she has special access to a channel in Discord that allows her to get a direct line to myself. And League was asking for a WTS creator and God. So here's the big news, and I don't think this is going to surprise anyone. At least it's been listening to the show as we've been breaking down the Star Wars film conundrum since 2019. It's official, people. They can't figure this shit out. It seems the only movie that they've been able to figure out. Here he comes. Hold on. Let me bring him in. Here he comes, young Nick, boot scooting boogieing in here. And there he is.
All right.
He's got his work hat on. Let's get a clarity check and start your mic if you have not started it.
Already started.
Fucking all-star. Yeah. That's why Nick wins Employee of the Month every month here at SWTS HQ.
Yeah.
All right, good sir. We'll do Ask Us Anything after this. I like to try to save that for you, but we're right in the middle of a kind of a compilation news post where we're talking about the Rey movie getting whacked from the schedule. Big surprise. So you're in right for that. So to kind of pick things up, last week it came out, they're not saying it's the Rey movie, Nick. We know it's the Rey movie. The Rey movie was supposed to come out December 2026 after Mandalorian Grogu coming out in May. And last week, it was announced that Disney, as they have been doing with Star Wars movies since 2019, has removed the unannounced Star Wars movie from its 2026 film slate in December and replaced it with Ice Age 6. So
that is assuredly going to make more money.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that right now.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's like your generation's movie, right? I mean, I imagine Ice Age 1 came out when you're probably what? Less than 10?
No, I don't think so.
Or
I think Ice Age came out when I was in it was 2002, so I was 14.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Right.
That's beyond.
Okay.
Beyond.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know there were 6. So maybe there's some franchise fatigue, but the important thing is here, we're talking about Star Wars. It's gone. Like, I mean, they can't fucking figure this shit out, dude.
Well, I think that before this announcement came out, they announced that the writer had left.
Oh, yeah. No, listen,
So
that was, I think, one of the shows you weren't here. But yeah, we covered that. And since I use AI now, I think our articles are fantastic. They pare the shit down to the nitty gritty. You don't have to waste your time reading through a professional's writer's talent. We just give you the good stuff. So yeah, like Nick said, it was never confirmed that this was going to be the Rey movie. It was the Rey movie. Everyone knows that. It was the Rey movie. I mean, hell, the Rey movie was going to be in May until they lost Damon and had to bring in Stephen Knight. And now they lost Stephen Knight as a writer and they don't have anyone. Therefore, we end up in this type of shit. So like you said, we've lost 3 screenwriters for the Rey movie already. A new one has not been hired. This is Stephen Knight was the most recent. We had Lindelof and Justin Britt Gibson before that. This is just becoming a trend now. This is not. It shouldn't shock anyone. This is how Lucasfilm manages the Star Wars movie universe now. They make grand proclamations, throw out promises, drag out actors and directors, and then sit there and play with their puds for multiple years after. I mean, Nick, we're 2.5 years past when they announced all these movies at Celebration 2022, and there's not a fucking thing to show for them. You got to remember.
I mean, honestly,
go ahead.
If I'm being honest, I'm happy that they're not just putting out bullshit. Like, I would rather them do what they're doing and be like, look, we had the best of intentions to make this movie and we just couldn't find somebody good to write it, or the writing direction that was being taken by the writer is not the direction that we want this film to go in. So we're gonna put it on pause until we find a better direction. Because that's not what they did with the sequel trilogy. What they did with the sequel trilogy was like,
we're sticking to schedule. Fuck it.
Yeah, like you're hired, write it, and then put it out, and we'll see how it goes. And we saw how it went. I mean, it made him a shitload of money because it was the first Star Wars movies that people had seen in a long time. But I think that at the end of that trilogy, there was a sense that there could have been a little bit more cohesion and everything else that we had discussed in the past. So, like, am I upset that they scrapped what was probably going to be a shitty movie? No.
I think here's
change.
The deal. Like, I get what you're saying. I'm with you too. I want the best we can get, but they've tarnished. They're the studio that cried wolf. I think that's the problem. Because when you're throwing this shit out there and you're doing official presentations and you're saying, yeah, we're gonna do this and this and this, people have expectations. Then when this shit happens, people start to question your ability to manage a studio. So I think they bring a lot of unneeded distractions, hate, criticism, because they do all the pomp and circumstance. Hey, we're going to do these 3 movies. Here's the director. Here's what they're going to be about. And then everything goes to shit. I agree.
Yeah,
I want the best we can get, but just don't fucking talk about it until it's a done deal.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess my thought is like, how many people are actually like give a fuck that they did an announcement for a movie that's supposed to come out in 3 years?
Here's the example. It gives the fuckheads of Star Wars content creation gasoline to start lighting the internet. Because last week, Kathleen Kennedy fucked up again. No, everyone hates Rey. Rey movie canceled for good. You know, it keeps that narrative going that Disney basically has been sitting and rotating on its thumb since it bought the license.
I mean, that's just a stupid take anyway. And if anybody believes it, then it's a waste of our time and their time to think it. But like, regardless, like, The true fact is the majority of people that go see Star Wars movies don't read Star Wars news. Fact.
Okay.
Like, it's just true. Like, the reason that those movies made $1 billion each is because 100 million people went to go see them. True. Like, just do the math. Like, do the math and figure it out yourself. 100 million people went to go see those movies worldwide. You know how many people watch Disney Plus Star Wars shows? 10 to 15 million, maybe 10% of that audience. So the people who are actually going to go see Star Wars movies don't give a fuck about what the news articles say because they don't read them. They see the trailer come out. They see the marquee headline Star Wars on the movie theater marquee, and then they go see it. But maybe 10% of your audience actually cares whether or not you did that.
I don't want to, today's not a day I want to get in a pissing match because I feel like shit. But if it wasn't a big deal, why do these major outlets cover it every week to week?
Because they have.
Well,
they
people
need
click on it then,
write.
right? They're not going to put out content if they're getting no traffic. So clearly, I think more people are engaged with Star Wars news than you may think. Is all I'm saying. Because I know look how we manage our shitty website. We don't put any content out because we know no one's reading it. So why are they going to pay someone to cover Star Wars if no one cares about Star Wars news? Is my point. So
I mean, I'm just looking at numbers. So
well,
that's
we'd have to ask THR and Vanity Fair and Empire why they continue to release Star Wars news then, because they could tell us.
You should ask them why they do like indie movie news too, because nobody reads that shit, and they definitely do that.
All right. So, I mean, listen, we know this is not the first time a Star Wars film has been announced and then nothing happens. I mean, we got Patty Jenkins, Ryan Johnson was supposed to have a trilogy, and maybe that's now Simon Kinberg's toy to play with. We had Kevin Feige. We had David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. Taika. I mean, that's just where we are. Unless you're Jon Favreau or fucking Dave Filoni, you ain't making a Star Wars movie. So James Mangold, go fuck yourself. Patty Jenkins, go fuck yourself. Taika, Ryan, Simon, you all too can go fuck yourselves. Because you ain't making a Star Wars movie. I promise it. All right. Moving on here. So when it comes to Star Wars movies, people, we've got Mando and Grogu, which is definitely a thing. It's happening. We've seen footage. We got a new logo today, and it's still wordy and ugly. That's probably still going to hit May 2026 unless the world blows up once the regime takes over. Outside of that, the only other Star Wars film on a Disney slate is now the December of 27, which could be the Rey slate, the new Rey slate, if they get their shit together. I just find it hard to believe when we get in these stories last week, hey, Rey is supposed to be the main vehicle to get the movies going again, and now we're canceling her solo movie. Is she going to be in the other movies? It's just, it is what it is. Let's all get excited for Ice Age 6, because that will probably actually release. All right, Nick, moving into, we got some Andor news too, in particular about everyone's favorite director. What's his name? Orson Krennic. So,
yes.
So Empire did their big Andor 2 issue. Not sure why. I mean, it's over a year away, but here we are. And talked to Ben Mendelsohn. Love Ben. I mean, you gotta love a guy that has a little bit of a lisp that can become kind of a famous actor. But they asked him, kind of how is Krennic going to be involved in Andor? Who may he be clashing with? Is he going to be fucking with rebels, or could it be internal struggles? Kind of like how we saw him in Tarkin. You could definitely argue they were not best friends. Okay, I mean they definitely would smile at each other, but as soon as they were out of the same room, they would shit talk each other. And Tarkin neutered the dude in front of all the other, admirals, moffs, whatever you want to talk about. So, interesting enough, we do know an Imperial that was quite infamous in Andor Season 1, and that's Dedra Meero. So, Ben said if they didn't see, talking about how Krennic may interact with other Imperials, he says, if they didn't see eye to eye to me, it's cute. Dedra versus Krennic, I think it's a bit of a mismatch. They're all underlings to Krennic. So he's saying we should expect a lot of jostling. We've seen this in the Empire. But even though these Imperials may argue and think that their plan, their way of doing things is going to be better, you got to remember, the Empire forces are always aligned in their aim. So even if Krennic and Dedra get into it, argue over how they should be rooting out these rebel cells. Ben is saying, listen, when it comes down to it, even with the internal arguments, the Empire is still going in one direction. The Empire, if you speak your mind, there are differences of opinion, but they're still executing Sheev's plan. He was asked, Nick, if Tarkin would return, and I think all of us that pay attention to Star Wars news that it's probably impossible for this to happen, considering the Cushing family is currently suing Lucasfilm over Rogue One. But Ben, playing coy, says, I can't answer that, and I delight in not being able to answer that. Is that the Cushing
family, or is that I thought that was a studio that had his rights some other way, but I don't know.
You'd have to look it up. I think the Cushing family is involved in some aspect. Here's Divided. They should let the AI. I don't even know if Nick's been introduced to our new coworkers yet. Nick, we've hired 2 new AI podcasters. They kind of fill in for us in between shows. It's Artificial Scott and Sally. They just cut an episode this week on the Ray News, so they're hard at work. They're out there, and they've been requested to do an episode on Dr. Aphra. So we will be contracting them out for that. All right. Into some Skeleton Crew stuff. They've wiped some of the clips already. Listen, you're going to get B-Mad. You gave us that super chat for Skeleton Crew. It's safe to say we're going to be Skeleton Crew from here on out, pal. So you wanted some commentary, you want some insights. We're about to head into our pregame of Skeleton Crew. But first, starting with just some official news that may inform some of our opinions. In fact, Nick, I wish some of this stuff was out earlier in the week when we were writing our wants and predictions, because I've gained many new insights that I think are going to be beneficial to our soothsaying here. So the first thing that may be of interest for people getting ready for Skeleton Crew, again, we're getting a double episode drop December 3rd. I mean, we're less than 2 weeks away. Here are the directors of the episode, and it may affect your opinion of the episode or what you're expecting to see. So John Watts, this is MCU Spider-Man guy, the series creator. He gets the first episode and the closing episode. I think that's good. Usually when the person that had the ideas is kicking it off and ending it, that's a good thing. David Lowery of the Green Knight fame. Nick, did you watch that movie?
I did not. Okay. I know that it's like Dev Patel, but I didn't watch it.
I think you would like it. It's more fantasy-based type of stuff. I mean, it's about King Arthur and shit like that. But nice. David Lowery is going to get a 2-episode block in 102 and 103, which I find kind of interesting, because we know we're getting a 2-episode premiere on the 3rd. And usually, Nick, when they do that, the director helmed both episodes. That's not going to be the case here. So John had to pass off the story to David, and then David is going to run with a block of episodes.
It is weird, considering that, like, usually if they have directors doing 2 episodes back to back, there's like an interconnected story as well between those two. So it's like, it's odd that the first 2 episodes are going to be seemingly, I mean, they're all interconnected. It's the same show, but like seemingly not going to be the 2 episodes that are directly following each other that are done by the same people.
I guess what we have to hope, Nick, and I these are just directors. So you have to assume that the writers were consistent and at least talking to each other, unlike the sequel trilogy. We got Joe Coughlin, 30-minute episodes. Yeah, I mean, listen, they've conditioned us. I think Andor's the only one that pushed that envelope and had, multiple 40-plus minute episodes. But I'm expecting Skeleton Crew to fall in that 30 to 40 range, which is, if we can get to 40 minutes, I'm good. I mean, that's typically, Nick and I, we've talked about this, us old assholes, when we used to have to watch network TV with commercials baked in, you typically only got about 42 to 43 minutes of actual narrative content. The shorter stuff, the 30 minutes, the 20 minute, like the animated episode shit, I still just don't think that works for live action well, unless you're doing a sitcom. After Lowry, Nick, we've got the Daniels. If you don't know who the Daniels are, they're the Everything Everywhere All at Once people, Oscar winners. I mean, basically their first big project, they knock it out of the park. I really enjoyed the movie. I like the way these guys think. So I'm expecting 104 to be intriguing. Probably the most different episode, right? I mean, these guys, what else have they done? I know they've done something else. Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know what they've done. I don't know what else that they've done. Truly, Daniel Kwan sounds more familiar to me than the other one, but
I just know they're shipped as a pair now. They're literally like they call themselves the Daniels. They've reached that level of Hollywood life, you know. So
yeah,
is that it? Just everything. I mean,
short film television. So I mean, like they did some television stuff. Aquafina is Nora from Queens, which I thought was a really good show. Yeah, I'm not really seeing too much that would be like notable.
Hey there, Star Wars Order. Welcome to the show.
Swiss Army Man, which if anybody has seen that's a movie with
that's fantastic, dude.
Daniel Radcliffe, like
and Homeboy.
It's like very, very weird.
Like Harry's a dead guy, right? He's a fucking corpse, right? Or no?
Yeah, he's dead, and they use his body for like very different things.
All right, yeah. Hey, we drew in a new one, Star Wars Order. Welcome. Hope you like what you see. You probably won't. You never know. Please stick around. All right, so in addition to the Daniels, we got Jake Schreier, who's doing the Thunderbolts. No clue who he is, so 105 might suck, but that's all right because I think that's one of the episodes we're gonna miss. Because remember, this is rolling right through the holidays, which I have come to a sustainable place in my head that we're just not going to do it. I might still drag my fat ass on the week of New Year's, maybe that Thursday or Friday, and do a quickie just to, I might be pent up, but Nick and I will be back covering the final 2 episodes after that. So,
yeah. So he did Beef, Schreier, if you've ever seen that Netflix series.
Was that with Ali Wong or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the one with Ali Wong.
And Glenn really from The Walking Dead, right?
Yeah, Stephen Yeun. Awesome series. Like, it was such a crazy series to watch.
We've got some talented people here, and then the next one is fucking BDH. And we know BDH can do Star Wars. She's knocked it out all 3 seasons of The Mandalorian, so we're in good hands there. And then the Twisters director, Lee Isaac Chung, will be doing the penultimate episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, Matthew Pollack agrees with you. But... Beef was right. Listen, dude, I think Twisters is awesome. I gave the recommendation to the intern, and I saw him in the Discord chatting about it. He's like, Twisters was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's like AI wrote the script. And I was like, well, I guess I was wrong there. I don't even like twangy country bullshit, but I actually even like its soundtrack because it's all country, but it's like that. I kiss my dog, then I kiss my sister every night. All right.
So Lee Isaac also did chapter 19 from Mandalorian, The Convert. So that's the one where we see Dr. Pershing being like integrated onto the like into the New Republic fold on Coruscant, stuff like that. So
be mad headed to my hometown for the Skeleton Crew release. Very nice. I love Pittsburgh. Guess who else is from there? Dave Filoni, big time Steeler Penguin type of fan. Fennec Shan, also from Pittsburgh. Forget her name right now because my brain's all fucked up. Who plays Fennec Shan, man? She's Disney royalty.
Yeah, I know. I feel like Ming-Na Wen.
Yeah, Ming-Na Wen.
Ming-Na Wen.
Speaking of Asian type of names, not done yet, but my God, you fuckers were right. Shogun is probably the greatest series I've ever seen. I fucking love
Shogun's
that.
Fantastic.
And I watch it full subtitles. Did you go full subtitles? Or did you do English dub?
Yeah. No, we did full subtitles as well.
Fucking love Lord Toranaga and Mariko and the Ainjin. Shit.
Yeah.
I love historical dramas, man.
I'm very excited to see where the where it goes for season 2 because they're moving away from source material. But yeah, I'm very interested because it seems like
don't spoil even though it's been out for months. But I think we're on either 8 or 9, and I'll definitely get that in tonight. It's become like, no, we need, even with those fucking ads, young Nick tried to tell me, hey man, Hulu with ads, it's no big deal. I'm cool. No, we're different with that shit, man. I can't handle it, dude. 2 minutes. Lord Toranaga's got something to say. I don't need a fucking commercial that freezes there and just plays music for 2 minutes straight. I literally have to fire up my phone and have like the New York Times app open so I can work on, Wordle or a crossword puzzle. Cause that's how like conditioned I am these days to not watch commercials. Can't do it. Yeah. Joey C. Shogun is on Hulu. and it is well worth your time and investment. It is fantastic. I just, no wonder that show won 14, 15 Emmys. I mean, it is perfect. Okay, so some other news that came out about Skeleton Crew. As you can see, this clip got wiped. It was a good clip though, because it actually gave us some insights, Nick. The clip was the kids arguing with SM-33. I would imagine this is probably going to be in episode 1, right when they get on the ship. And a lot of us were probably like, you know what, Wim, he's probably going to be the one that becomes the captain. He's sitting there pushing the buttons. But we learned in this clip, Fern is the captain, which means SM-33 is going to be directly loyal to her. So I think that is going to provide some hijinks in the series to come. Because what SM-33 essentially says is like, whoever's the captain of this ship, they're the fucking boss. I'll do whatever they tell me to do, and that's it. Anyone else, I'll fucking kill you. So that was insightful. We learned the name of the ship, which you and I missed, or I missed. I usually find this stupid shit. But the ship they dig up, Nick, it's called the Onyx Cinder. The Onyx Cinder. So I kind of dig that name.
Yeah, it's a good name. Good ship name for sure.
Star Wars Order, just keep positive, pal. It's going to be good. All right. If you go into something thinking it's going to suck, your brain will make it suck. All right. So go in with an open heart and a soul full of love.
That's so crazy that there's already there's the Lego set out for the.
Yeah, that's what I mean, dude. I missed that. I mean, it was announced like fucking last May. We're sitting here breaking down the trailer. Oh man, I wonder what the ship's called. Look at this thing. Well, hey, assholes, it's called the Onyx Cinder. So
yeah, Skeleton Crew was definitely off our radar for a little bit last year.
Yeah. So and it is a pirate ship. Like, I mean, that's no joke. I mean, SM-33, 100% a pirate bot. He is actually the second mate of the Onyx Cinder. So that's why whoever is captain, he essentially is loyal. See, there you go, Order. You thought Andor was going to blow, and it didn't. This one, the more I see, Nick, because now we're starting to get clips, we're getting more insights, more interviews, the more I'm like, you know what? This could be a fucking banger. It could be a banger. I mean, if you like Goonies and it can honor that feel, but in Star Wars, it also kind of adds some lore to the Mandoverse era, but in a fun way, not so fucking serious. Yay. All right? Yay. So... I'm all for it. So we got the Onyx Cinder. We know Fern, which is one of the female kids, she's going to become the default captain based on an exchange with SM-33. I got to hear SM-33, and Nick Frost was a great casting for a pirate robot. I think he sounds fantastic. We also learned, and I know, Nick, we were trying to speculate this, when we broke down the second trailer, we had Wim's father talking to some lady. You know, I was like, oh, this lady, she seems regal. She's in these robes. Maybe she's a New Republic senator. We still don't know that, but we do now know who she is and their names. So Wim's father, played by Tunde Adebimbe, his name's Wendell. Okay, that's Wim's dad, the black guy. And then Carrie Condon is playing Fern's mother, Farah. So at least Wim's dad and Fern's mom, they're probably going to be leading the charge to figure out where the fuck their kids ended up. And I still contend, based on the room they're in, that Farah is more than just a parent. I think she's going to be somebody on this planet, which we now have learned what it is. And Nick, we may have to rescind or renege on what old republic they were referring to. So we did get another clip. They're kind of pressing Jadna Nawood. That's how they have to say it too, almost like Dune, like Lisa Nagaib. It has to be Jadna Nawood. But he's on, and it's a great clip. That's what I mean. If you haven't seen this clip yet, people, watch it. It's a good clip. It gives you kind of the tone that we're going to be interacting with when it's this adult character with the kids character, and I'm loving the feel of it. But they're essentially like, hey, man, we need to go get the droid. The droid's with us. And Jadna's like, nah, we're good. We don't need droids. And they're like, yeah, but you're a Jedi. You don't leave anyone behind. And he's like, yeah, right. Jedi never really said that, though. And they're like, but you are a Jedi. And he's like, yeah. So you're already starting to get that kind of the lack of ambiguity behind this character, and what are they? What is Jadna? Was he a Jedi? Is he a Sith? Is he just a Force latent individual? Why is he out gallivanting around in pirate space? What could he be looking for? Why is he so willing to leave this droid behind and take the kids away on this ship? So I think Jadna with Wim, Fern, KB, and Neil, it's going to be a new type of dynamic that we have not seen in a long, long time. Maybe since the Ewok movies. I mean, that's the last time I can think where you had kids kind of driving a Star Wars flick. But I like what I'm seeing. And here's the big one for young Nick. We now know the name of the planet. I think it's brand new, so you probably don't have reference, but it may help us here on this which old republic are we fucking talking about when those shitheads say something to the kids in that space station, like, you have old republic credits, and then, all hell breaks loose. So coming from Screen Rant in an interview with Chris Ford, who is one of the writers here, I don't know why this looks like so much shit. Let me try to pop this up just on X or Twitter. There we go. So anyways, Chris Ford revealed the name of the planet that we've seen. We'll call it the suburb Star Wars planet, right? We've all been kind of shocked by it. Like, holy shit, look at this. This looks like this could be future Earth. Well, we have learned now it is called Attin. So Attattin, Attin. And at one point in time, Nick, this planet was described as the crown jewel of the Old Republic. The crown jewel of the Old Republic. Chris Ford once said, what do you think?
Not a name that I'm familiar with.
No, that's what I mean. But don't you think now that it is the old?
Yeah. Yeah, and I would assume that it is.
And that this pirate ship was on at 18, probably looking for something?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so. Yeah, this is definitely old Republic. What it really comes down to is, I guess when the ship crashed, how long it's been there. It seems like it's been there at least, I mean, from what we could see in the show, unless it was uncovered, it's been there for quite a while, but it doesn't seem like it's been there for 10,000 years, Yeah.
I mean, hey, it is sci-fi, and you never know. But we do have some reference. I mean, if you think about it, Kalnaka took his ship to Kofor, and in 16, 18 years, it was completely overtaken by the Earth. So,
Old Republic is before.
Oh yeah, divided. We are talking 10,000 years ago.
Yeah, if you're familiar with Revan and Malak and the Star Wars, the Old Republic video games, that's that time period, and that takes place tens of thousands of years prior to High Republic. Kind of
gets me geeked up because now we know we potentially have a connection to an era that has not been featured in live action.
Yeah, it's the first time that they're really dabbling in it in a heavy way.
Yeah, so there's going to be lore around the planet. There's going to be lore around the ship now. Why was the ship there? Why did it crash? Why was it not able to leave? What were they looking for? So I almost anticipate now that we may do a 360 to where the kids leave at Attin, don't know where the fuck they're going, and they try to get back, but they're actually going to be bringing back the bad people to the thing that they initially were looking for, possibly many thousands of years ago. So
could be. If
it is thousands and thousands, dude, we could be getting into shit we don't even know about. Not even Jedi, not even Sith. It could be Zepho. It could be people coming from Peridia, that type of shit. And that kind of gets me excited.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what parts of the Old Republic lore they're actually going to dive into. If it's just going to be whole cloth new material that we haven't seen in previous properties before, which would make total sense. I mean, you can't cover an entire, era of Star Wars in 2 video games. And, I guess you count a third video game if you've played Star Wars The Old Republic MMO. It's just not possible to cover all of that time period. So I think that we're going to get some very interesting stuff from here, especially if they're going to dive into the pirate side of the Old Republic, which really hasn't been explored that much. We've interacted with smugglers and scoundrels, and we've interacted with Jedi and Sith and Rakatans and everything like that. But pirates really haven't shown their face too much in any Old Republic lore that I'm super familiar with.
Yeah, just like I think the big hook there, and we can't even say it's the MacGuffin now is essentially the ship itself, but the real story may be what fucking artifact or what was the Onyx Cinder and his crew looking for initially on Attin, and maybe Jad Na's connected to that. The pirate lore could be connected to that. So I dig this. I also dig League getting all pissed off, essentially cursing Skeleton Crew to hell because Acolyte got flack. We didn't do it, League. Kill them all. Let God sort them out. Listen, I want everything to do well. It's a shame what happened to Acolyte. It's funny, Nick, today in our archive on Instagram, there was a clip of me a year ago crowing about the Acolyte's going to be fucking great. And I'm like, how'd this clip hold up for some of you? I know I still enjoyed it, but I bet some people are going like, look at this fucking shill asshole.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we generally go into shows with positive outlooks on them. I don't think that there's been a show that we're really like, this is probably going to suck right out of the gate.
Dude, I'm a fucking homer. Like, I wear rose-tinted glasses for all things Star Wars. I cannot be trusted with my opinions. But you should. You should listen to me. I like being positive about Star Wars. I used to be quite a negative person, but I've actually fixed some of that through therapy. So, you know what? It just feels better to not hate shit, okay? To not hate shit.
It does.
So some other insights into here, Ford teases what viewers can expect from this seemingly innocuous planet. He says, that's what's fun about it. The kids grow up there. It's peaceful. It's nice. And they don't like that because they're bored. But if you're in Tatooine or you're in the middle of a battle, you would love to go to this planet. So it's about that difference in perspective. We know that's a theme of Star Wars. If you look at things from a certain point of view, what's the actual value there? And then John Watts says, listen, there's definitely more to the planet than meets the eye, but we don't want to say too much. So I think Attin, Nick, could eventually be the lore star of Skeleton Crew.
Yeah. I mean, I know that that's going to be our starting point, and it'll probably be close to our ending point too, considering that these kids have to come home. But it will be interesting to see how much Old Republic lore and history they really dive into there. Like, are there hidden temples there? As stupid as it sounds,
well, there may be. They're in something in one of the trailers, right? I mean, Jadna, they're walking by a wall that it's definitely an ancient language. I don't know if it's Zeph. I don't know if it's Sith. It's definitely not Arabesh. All right.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff there. Ding, ding, ding. You might be on to something there, League, when you're saying Skeleton Crew's already getting a fair shake. Unfortunately, that's how the world operates these days, especially here in the States. So, how I opened the show talking about my whiteness, there it is. Okay, so we got that covered there. So Attin, Attin, an Old Republic crown jewel. I think that is going to lead to some really, really awesome, hopefully, I don't want to oversell it or get too headcanon based, but some great new lore for Old Republic that may even provide some answers or new world building, character building in the Mandoverse era. All right, Nick, we got one last update on Skeleton Crew, and this just came across the desk today, and I can't even imagine how they're going to do this, but according to John Watts, he and his team put in a shitload of work to create a reference to the Star Wars holiday special in a big way. All right, listen to what he has to say here about this thing. And if you don't know what the holiday special is, go treat yourself to it one time. Because it's a clusterfuck that has become kind of a charming thing to poke fun of in the Star Wars fandom. But apparently Watts and his team really wanted to honor it. So here he goes. He says, we thought we would be maybe able to use some pre-existing footage, but no, it was way too low resolution and it was the wrong angles. I mean, literally the first holiday
everything
special,
in that stuff is wrong angles.
and George was involved, I think. Like he gave him the green light. Mark Hamill was in it. Chewbacca. He goes on to say, we had to create this moment from multiple angles because you see it in various parts of the scene. So we rebuilt the whole thing from scratch. We had to dig up the original designs of the costumes, which were in the Lucasfilm archive, get all the original specs. We had to redo the music from scratch because there was no copy of the actual score anywhere. So we had to rebuild that. It ended up being 20 times more work than we anticipated, and our stunt coordinator is the main performer in it, and he was able to re-choreograph the routine too, because it's a very acrobatic routine, I will say. Without saying what it is, which it is pretty obvious now, it was so much work and was so worth it. My favorite part. Like, I don't know, man. I like reading that type of shit from a creator because you can tell that John Watts is jacked about this. You know what I mean? Like, getting this holiday special reference in his show was so important. It sounds like they spent a month or two to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy that they are going to be like this is really going to be the first notable piece of Star Wars film or TV to come out that is actually going to reference the holiday special in like a substantial way, and almost in any way, because like it's surprising to me that we have never, like, as much Star Wars as exists now, Life Day has never been mentioned. Like, Life Day is their Christmas, basically. Mm-hmm. And we've had Star Wars release movies during Christmas time, at least, like, the U.S. holiday Christmas time and stuff like that, and it was never mentioned, anything like that. So I'm very interested to see the angle that they take at this. And I will say that it makes sense that they're going to do it in this show, because the holiday special was clearly made for children, like young children. And this show is targeted and aimed at children, from what we can tell. Like, it stars kids. The tone of the show seems like it's very child friendly.
Are we going to see some Wookiees? I mean, aren't they like a main part of Life Day?
The holiday special took place on Kashyyyk during Life Day, which was also the first canonical representation of Kashyyyk ever.
They're wearing their big red robes, right? All the Wookiees wearing clothes.
Yeah.
So I mean, he kind of give it away. It sounds like it's a dance routine.
Yeah.
Maybe like a big dance number.
And like that, he said like, oh yeah, that'll like give it away. Honestly, I don't remember enough. It's been so long, over a decade since I've seen this.
I was actually going to just do some searches here after the show and be like, yo, is there a dance routine in the holiday special, and see what we get.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see like what comes out of that. So.
I think that's pretty cool. And as I said, I think they've done a pretty good job, at least these past 2 weeks, of trying to light that promo fire underneath Skeleton Crew. The clips have been good. The interviews have been good. There's a director roundtable of the directors we just talked about. It's like a 15-minute video that's quite quality. That's the one League said they were scouting for the comments section, and it sounded mostly positive. I was like, well, can't remember. There's a white guy lead this time, so it's going to get a pass from some of the Neanderthals. Joe saying Matt and Nick should recreate whatever this scene is. If we were actually gonna do a show during the holidays, I would recommend Nick and I should throw on a red blanket and do it like that. But we're taking those 2 weeks off. I might show up the week of New Year's later in the week just for a quickie, but you never know. All right. So that's like all the newsy shit for Skeleton Crew. Now it's time for the meat of E335 of the SWTS, and that is our pre-gaming for Skeleton Crew. That's right, my friends. If you've never been here before a Star Wars series hits the airwaves, we always like to try to speculate the living shit out of it. We are soothsayers. We are Star Wars Sherpas. We are Nostradamuses of that galaxy that is so far, far away. So we break it down into two categories. We've got our fan wants for a series. So, as a fan, what do we want to see? What do we hope to see? What would make us happy? What would get our nipples hard, our weenies chubbed up, that type of stuff. And then the second part is, what are we predicting as the two speculative geniuses that we are for Star Wars? All right. So here we go. We're going to start with the fan wants. We've got 11. I'll say the last one is kind of just a a tongue-in-cheek joke at the Fandom. And then we got 11 predictions, again, with the last one tongue-in-cheek. So here we go. Without further ado, our Skeleton Crew fan wants. And up first, Nick, we have a deeper exploration of Force abilities beyond the typical Jedi Sith bullshit. Show us Jude Law's character using the Force in unconventional ways.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it'll be very interesting to see how they play his character. Because, we've seen him use the Force before. It seems like he may not be a trained Force user from what I could tell so far. Obviously, we haven't seen too much of his abilities or how he uses the Force through the trailers that we've seen so far. But for an untrained Force user, it is interesting to see like what kind of stuff that they can come up with and how they can like manipulate the Force in different ways than you would be taught from like a Jedi Master or something like that. So
yeah,
it could be something like that.
I don't know. I might be trying to analyze that clip a little too much, but the way he talks, it seems when he's being called a Jedi, he definitely knows what a Jedi should know, and it almost angers him. Like maybe he was in the Order and shit went bad and he's been hiding and he felt left alone. Who knows? But yeah, we've only seen him use the Force to grab keys in a prison.
Yeah.
I'm just...
And if we're talking about like time away, like how far this is out from episode 3 at the very latest. So like that's probably, we're talking probably 40 years out from episode 3. So the likelihood that he has like official training is pretty low, unless he was like a youngling at the time of the Grand Republic before it was sent down.
Well, you gotta remember, I think Vader would only be about 50 at this point in time. So, we could still have Jedi that were... Baylan Skoll was kicking around in Ahsoka during this era. Speaking of this era, I read another fucking... Just quit getting your Star Wars information from the major sites. This fucking idiot site that I just read today, they're like, Skeleton Crew takes place after Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. I'm like, right there, you should delete your goddamn website about Star Wars. That's the most idiotic thing you could say. After the Force Awakens, like still another 30 years beyond the Mandoverse, you stupid assholes. There's always time for Star Wars time. All right, so we want to see Jadna not be your typical Force user. Be a little shady. All right, maybe he knows some things. Maybe there's a story, kind of like how we saw the story of Peridia driving Baylan on a mission. Maybe this dude's got a story that he knows about the Force or the Jedi and the Sith, and that's why he's been learning this stuff to potentially capture whatever artifact or whatever mythical item that these Force users have created to give him some sort of power, wealth, or freedom in life. That's usually the motivations of these characters, right? They just want to live how they want to live, like Khmer. He just wants to be Khmer, okay? The Jedi call him a Sith. The Jedi make him kill other Force users. He just wants to be left alone. All right, so that's our first one. Second one, Nick, we really want to be introduced, and I think we're going to get it just based on the trailer here. We want to be introduced to new, mysterious alien species, and I want these aliens to play a crucial role in the plot, not just background fodder, okay? They either rat the kids out to kind of kick them into the next part of the story, or they're chasing them. They're part of the pirate gang. Like this crab fucker or the chef that, kind of looked like a camel on 2 feet. Let's go, right? Yeah. Let's bring some new goofy looking creatures into the universe.
Yeah, it seemed like they did a pretty good job of that with the pirates in Mandalorian season 3. Like getting those in and having a different style of alien than we've typically seen out of Star Wars before. So I would assume that now that this show is way more heavily based around that like pirate culture, that we are going to get a lot of different styles of aliens, like the one that's showcased right here, this one that looks like the dinosaur from the old dinosaur TV show. Like, I think that there's a lot of opportunity to expand that a bit and really show some more of like the, I don't want to say backwater species, but just like unfamiliar species to the galaxy as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, I know it just makes Star Wars more fun, more unique from other sci-fi types of shows. I mean, just crazy ass aliens. You know, get some of that George Lucas shit. You know how I was telling you all last week for TPM, his artists came to appreciate the way he could be like, you know what? I like that guy's head, that guy's arm, that guy's body, that guy's legs, jam them all together, and that guy's going to be called Wacky Facky. And they'd be like, yeah, it looks like a fucking Star Wars alien. So let's go. Let's see what Watts and team cooked up. You know, it's always fun to get new alien characters, but I'm hoping it's more than just, hey, it's Crab Dino Man. You know, let's make one of them maybe a protagonist or antagonist, someone that is kind of a part of the story and affecting the plot. All right, up next on our want list, young Nick, we have. This is one of the ones you're looking for, and it's just you want to build upon the pirate story from Mando S3, which we should get, considering that Vane is clearly listed with these pirates the kids are going to run into. You know, we got the Wolf Brutus. I think the Three Eyes is Ishi Tib. I forget what the little white lady's called. We're going to have Gunter from Jaleel White. So what are you looking like? Are you looking like, did Vane take over for the fucking algae face, or you know, what are their motivations here? Why are they going after the kids? Is it the ship? Is it what could be on the ship? Stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, basically what I'm expecting is like a pirate B plot. You know, like all of these shows have like an A and a B plot. Yeah. The A plot's obviously going to be the kids in Jodna and like the you know, I guess you would say like galaxy hopping that they're going to do. But I want to see a B plot that's centered around the pirates, because again, like that's just a part of Star Wars that we really haven't spent a lot of time with. Like, I want to understand what they're looking for, because they're clearly going to be interested in this ship once they realize that it's back on the radar, or once they realize that it's out there. So I really want to see, like, from their perspective, what is this ship? Why are they so interested in it? Why are they going to go after the kids to get this ship? Everything like that. So just really like explore that space a little bit more, kind of like, you know, what the Mandalorian did for Mandalorians. Mandalorians were always kind of like secondary or tertiary characters. You never really got to understand their motivations or like what their goals were. So I want to see that from the pirates, even if it is just like the gang that's being led by Vane. You know, like give us a little bit more of the history of pirates in Star Wars, and I feel like that's kind of the direction we're going.
I got a question. What do you think the pirates are going to become first interested because they learn that kids have a ship and that's an easy mark? Or do you think, like you said, maybe this thing's transponder starts pinging when it hits this pirate lawless space, and they're like, oh shit, this the legendary Cinder is it somewhere, and these fucking kids have it. We got to get it. How do you think it's going to play out?
Yeah, that would be my assumption, is that like they see this ship that is like of like this law. It's literally like every pirate legend we have, like in real life.
The Goonies
like,
guy. What was his name?
Yeah, I don't remember.
This is bad. This just shows you I'm mid-40s. I used to be able to recall this shit easy.
But I'm just talking about like real life pirate lore, like, you know, Blackbeard ship, you know, the Queen, the
One-Eyed Jack,
like, dude, you could say it right now and I still wouldn't know.
Oh, One-Eyed Willie! God damn it! I knew it was One-Eyed somebody. One-Eyed Willie. Yeah. Thank you, Nova.
But like get into that, because like there are people that live today in the real world who look for lost pirate ships and like look for lost pirate treasure. So like, I'm sure when you, like you said, when that transponder signal turns on and they're like, oh my God, the Onyx Cinder, this ship has been lost for thousands of years and it's supposed to carry this massive pirate treasure or something like that.
It's got the secret, it's got the coordinates, or it returned from At-18 where it was supposed to get XYZ. Yeah, I'm thinking it could be a combo of the two. It could start just kind of innocently. They are pirates. They see easy marks. The big deal's made about them having Old Republic credits. That peaks. Is that it? Is that the ship we think it is? Now we definitely need to pirate it, pillage it from these little ones. All right.
Yeah.
Up next for our wants here, kind of like we want new aliens and we want them to affect the story or be involved in some capacity. We just want this thing to be a thrilling adventure that goes to new uncharted regions of the galaxy, which I think we're going to get. I honestly think we already know we're getting at least one new planet. I'm wagering we get 3 more just based on the trailers we saw. So yeah, let's go. Let's get away from the brown drab shit. Let's go to new planets. Let's learn what their aliens look like, what their culture's like. Why do our heroes and protagonists have to go there, and then why are the antagonists chasing them there? So let's get at least 3 new, never before seen planets and cultures recorded via Skeleton Crew.
Yeah. I think that's always something that we want from new Star Wars material, is like expansion of the universe. So I think this is the best way to do it, because there is going to be so much traveling, or we expect there to be so much like space travel. So you have the opportunity to go to a lot of different locations in a short amount of time, and it not feel like, oh, well, we're rushing past this, so we're not spending a lot of time here. Like, that's kind of the intention, from what I can tell, is like they're gonna have this like hot galaxy hopping adventure where they're visiting a lot of different places.
Yeah, I think we'll probably spend the most time on Attin, just bouncing between the parent subplot, the opening episode. But like you said, I think once they get to this space station, or whatever the fuck we're gonna call it, docking bay. What do we call that? An inlet. A slip?
Yeah. Like a boat slip, whatever. Yeah.
I think, once they leave here, I'm with you. I think it's, okay, we need to go to this planet to find this. And oh shit, now we need to go here to find this. Well, they're coming to get us, so we got to jump over here. I mean, we know we're at least going to be on the gray drab planet that wants to eat the return to Attin, to where the real plot device is at, where the real driver of the story is. I think that'd be interesting. Like, hey, we're leaving here. We're lost, but in the end, not only are we bringing the kids home, but we're potentially bringing a big mess with us because of whatever was on this planet that the Onyx Cinder initially went to look for. Okay.
Yeah.
Next one for Skeleton Crew from the SWTS Bros. We want some sort of discovery or lore drop on an ancient Jedi or Sith artifact. Hell, I'd even take it further to pre-Jedi and Sith. Maybe the Zepho, those from Peridia. But I want this artifact to make sense for the larger Star Wars mythology and universe. So Nick, this artifact not only has to drive the plot of the show, but it has to have great meaning for the Star Wars mythos overall.
Yeah, I think that is where it's going to be, like, that's going to be Jadna's focus, right? Like, the pirates' focus is going to be on the ship. Like, this is the ship that could lead us to this great pirate treasure, or this is the ship that has, the coordinates for something, like some place. Almost like somebody brought up the Black Pearl from Pirates of the Caribbean. Almost like that. Like, the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie is like, you could only get to the cave that has the cursed treasure in it if you already know how to get there. Like something like that, where it's like, this ship is the key to either finding this artifact that people have been looking for millennia, or finding this pirate treasure that pirates have been, like, this mythical pirate treasure that's been in the zeitgeist for a long time. I think something like that would be really interesting for Jadna, like having like some sort of like ancient Jedi artifact that he's looking for, ancient Sith artifact that he's looking for, while the pirates are like, we want this fucking pirate treasure. We want this ship because it's going to lead us to a treasure.
Right. But I know what you're saying, but he understands, like, yeah, it might be a pirate treasure, but in that treasure is what I need. And
exactly.
Okay, yeah, that's where I'm at too. I'm with you. I do think Jadna is clearly going to have his own agenda, and it's not going to be on the up and up with the kids. It is going to be slightly narcissistic, nefarious, possibly dark, definitely cunning. But I think by the end of it, he may realize, like, you know what I was planning to do initially and using these kids, I can't do it anymore. I gotta turn the leaf and redeem myself from whatever piece of shit I have become since my days training as a whatever. Okay. Well, this is obviously, we're going to want our cameos here, and we just threw some ones that we think have potential. I think Tiva and Zeb, very high likelihood. I mean, there was a scene in the trailer where you can see the pirates looking up, and in the sky, you got fucking New Republic X-Wing zipping around. And anytime we see those show up in a Mandoverse era TV series, guess who's usually sitting behind the yoke? My man Carson Teva.
Yeah, I was going to say Carson. I would like to see Trapper. I would like to see Filoni make another.
Oh yeah, the directors.
Like show up again.
Yep. I mean, Deborah Chow was in there. Filoni.
Yeah. Get Filoni back in the seat again, because I think that it would be really fun for him to be at least alongside Tiva.
Yeah, it's good to let's keep these people in memory for this era, because they're going to be involved in the Mando and Grogu movie. They're going to be involved in the Mandoverse crossover. So let's keep fleshing them out, see what they're contributing to the overall story arc of this timeline. Hondo, I mean, come on. We talked about this a few weeks ago. We had a special segment on, if Hondo's not in here, what the fuck are we doing with our lives anymore? He screams, I should be in Skeleton Crew. He is the most iconic Star Wars pirate, period. And that's enough with you people saying Han Solo was a space pirate. That's just what fucking Lando would call him. He wasn't a pirate in the sense of the word pirate. So Hondo, yes. I just threw up some rando bounty hunters from this time period, but bounty hunters would make sense for this type of story that we could see.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
Even it could be the parents fucking hiring a bounty hunter. I mean, bounty hunters don't just have to be shitheads. So I think our potentials for cameos are New Republic pilots of the Mandoverse timeline. Like you said, Trapper's a good one. Tiva, Zeb, whatever. I forget what Deb and the other Rick Fujiyama's character was called. Bounty hunters, and Hondo obviously being the big one. Like, if we don't do Hondo, Nick, I think we just have to give up on, like, Dave Filoni doesn't give a shit. He only cares about his projects and getting the bumps there. And Star Wars creators in general, they're either just mean and want to upset us fans, or they just truly don't understand what would go over well for fans. Like, let's get a little more WWE and start putting shit over for the fans. You know what I mean? Like let's try to do this, people at Lucasfilm. It's not that fucking hard. Give us an easy layup, Hondo. It's
got to be like, I struggle to see where he comes in other than the Mandalorian itself if he doesn't show up in this show. Because there's really not, like, he's not going to fucking come in.
It's literally a show about space pirates, Andor. Dude. It's like, come on.
Yeah, he's not going to come in Andor. He's not going to come in with, any of the, like, any of the other potential shows that are out there. This is the one that is literally built for him. Like,
aren't you worried though? Because we've said this a million times. Bad Batch season 3 is built to put an exclamation point on the named clones. Wah! Didn't happen. I mean,
that is true. That is true.
I can't trust them anymore, and it hurts me to say it, but I can't trust these motherfuckers. It's like, this stuff writes itself. Star Wars, space pirates, Hondo Anaka. Like, come on. That's A plus B equals C. Not hard.
Yeah.
But
no, you don't have to convince me.
Be prepared, people. Be prepared to be disappointed is all I'm saying. Because anytime we've highlighted something as a layup, like this is just too easy. Hey there, little one.
Hello.
What's going on?
Do you want any of the guacamole?
You can eat it all.
Yay.
Remember when she used to come and visit and actually be like, oh, hey, Dad.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's like, hey, can I eat all your dinner? It's like, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I don't need to eat. I'm not feeling good anyway. So, oh, man, something's happened. I got to figure out what happens here, because now on our vertical slice, it doesn't line up with the fucking browser on the wide. It's an easy fix, but, someone like me, where there's a technical problem, it's a problem. So there must be a button I push that fucks this up. Hey, there's Tong Wars coming in, dropping a comment. Let's throw that up there.
Tong's waiting for the top 5 section.
Hell yeah,
That's what
Tong's
Tong's
saying.
waiting.
S2 Mando showed just how good fan service can be. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. TLJ shows how bad anti-fan service can be. Rebel Rock Radio, a newbie, welcome. Random question: are you using StreamYard for your live stream or another platform? Hey, thanks for asking. I'm actually using OBS, so this is all custom built, and that's why it kind of looks old, like an old person made it. Not very good at graphical design, but I can get shit streaming from my computer out to YouTube. So there it is. Not using StreamYard, just full OBS, and I think we have like a StreamYard bot in the chat, but that's about it. Thank you. We appreciate you. We speak your name. Okay, moving on with our want list here, Nick. We definitely want our cameos. This is another one that I'll see what the fans think here, but you know, you're talking about subplots about the pirates, the parents. I kind of want to get a little dip into what the Remnant Bay may be up to. Maybe the Onyx Cinder could be on their radar. You know what I mean? Let's bring up the Shadow Council. Let's fold in some story about, hey, what's the Remnant up to? Maybe they have some bases out in these uncharted regions of space that the kids are going to be at. You would think, Nick, they're the Remnant Empire. The Empire always gets intrigued by nefarious shit happening in its sectors of the galaxy. So if they pick up some radio chatter like, oh, hey, these pirates are chasing the Onyx Cinder, that could be a Shadow Council, ding, ding, ding. This may help us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not uncommon either for the Empire to have spies planted within pirate locations. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if we showed up to this, pirate base, which it seems like this big space station that we're seeing could be is like a pirate stronghold, that there are some Imperial spies there that may be passing information back. So like once the buzz starts to build, like, hey, Onyx Cinder's here, the Onyx Cinder's here, like, and then it kind of makes its way back to the Remnant. It makes its way back to the Shadow Council. And then assuredly this ship is going to drum up some interest from that side as well. So making sure to fold in the Empire in this, even if it is just a tertiary plot.
Exactly, just
like
a check-in.
Something.
It can even just be a conversation that they've recognized, like the Onyx Cinder is on the map, and maybe they don't even get involved. But what are they up to? I mean, I feel like we need some sort of bridge between Ahsoka Season 1, the Mando and Grogu movie, and then Ahsoka Season 2, and this Skeleton Crew could kind of scratch that itch a little bit.
That's definitely true.
With these bad guys. All right. I mean, remember, Gideon is gone. Thrawn's returned. These could be things that the galaxy is talking about, at least, at minimum. So that's why we have that as a 1. Up next, you know what? Let's get some fucking crazy-ass space battles going on here. Right? Let's get some new-looking ships.
When's the last time we had like a crazy space battle, right?
Maybe,
that's such a good point.
Well, I would say in chronological order, probably Revenge of the Sith's opening.
Yeah, I was going to say Rotz's opening was really, I mean, you could maybe point to TLJ, but TLJ was just a lot of like following and busting the shield until the Holdo maneuver happened.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, the opening was a bit of a battle, but it was more like just a front attack on one ship. It wasn't a full scale like Return of the Jedi cluster. Exactly.
Yeah. So something like that is something that we've definitely been missing for a while. I guess it would probably be Tross. Like people, I know that like Tross is the least favored child by most
yeah, you're right. That is the most recent.
So,
but that I mean, outside the initial shot, we were like, damn, that's big. It kind of becomes like a cluster after that.
Yeah, they didn't spend a lot of time on it either. Mostly what you would get is like check-in shots on like the big ships. Like you would see like Zori's ship, and then you would see Wedge, like doing his thing, and then you would see Lando. So you didn't really spend a lot of time in the space battle like you did with the Rotz battle.
Yeah, I'm thinking almost like a New Hope trench run where we get dogfights. Like I want that type of shit. Point of view dogfights, chasing shit down, seeing new ships. I don't want this to just be X-Wings and TIEs either. Like let's get more Onyx Cinders type of ships out there. What do the pirate ships look like? We know Gorn's ship blew up on Navarro, I believe, right? The Mandos sunk that
they
bitch.
Exploded that one.
So
yeah.
you know Vane only is going to have his snub fighter. So did Vane and them, have they organized enough to get their next large vessel? That type of stuff. So yeah, let's get the boom booms and zoom zooms and the laser lights and space going. Let's have a really intense space battle, at least a dogfight that is more than just 2 seconds.
I feel like if you're a pirate show, you gotta have it, right? Like every pirate show has like the pirate ship battle, like Pirates of the Caribbean, Black Sails, all these pirate shows always have like a showdown between the pirate ships in the water. So I think you gotta have it.
Rebel, I saying we have a stream. I think we have a Stream Labs bot in the chat. I didn't mean you guys are bots, and we love getting another Star Wars podcast in here. I'll definitely check out your channel after this, Rebel Rock. And appreciate your comments, because I think our stream looks like a 44-year-old man created it. So, love you, buddy. Hopefully you come back sub for a sub, as they used to say. Hey, Star Wars Order came back after class. Look at this. We're doing something right today, Nick. All right, moving on with our wants for Skeleton Crew. If you're just tuning in now, we are pre-gaming for Skeleton Crew because we're going to be out next week. It's the holidays, at least here in the States. I'm headed out to Philly for the first time for Thanksgiving, I guess, in my entire life, and that's just to support the family members that lost someone back in October. So we're not going to be here next week. It's good to have some new people in here. I'm guessing we're reeling you in from the vertical live feed, and we appreciate you. But we're pre-gaming Skeleton Crew. We're going through our wants. As fans, what do we want to see in Skeleton Crew? And then we're going to go through our predictions as Star Wars speculative superheroes. All right, Nick, the next one here, and we're coming to the end of our wants, and we already kind of got some of this just today through some of the news bites here, but we want lore and time period made official for Onyx Cinder. So if this is truly an old Republic vessel, what was it doing on At-18? How long has it been there? What happened to the other pirates? I mean, I'm assuming we're going to see the skeletons and whatnot on the ship once the kids get in there, but let's get into it. Why was this ship here? Why was it buried? Why does it have hyperspace coordinates programmed into it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing that I really want. I think this show is going to be fun. I think it's going to be a really, like you said, like Goonie-esque kind of romp through the galaxy. But as somebody who has spent a lot of time in the Old Republic through the video games primarily, through some of the novels, that's what really piqued my interest. And now knowing that the Onyx Cinder is from the actual Old Republic period, and it wasn't just like a turn of phrase that they used in the trailer, it makes me even more interested to see what kind of rabbit hole we can go down with this ship.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's the perfect vehicle for, no pun intended, to really draw people in a very easy way into the Old Republic. Instead of throwing Revan right onto your screen and being like, we're fucking in it. This ship kind of gives you a very light pathway into the Old Republic to start to dabble in that era. And I really want to see who can they connect to this ship? Are we going to hear about some characters that we maybe have?
Okay, so you're hoping for a Legends name to get dropped potentially?
Yeah, potentially. Even if it is, one of the smaller characters that you may have interacted with in KOTOR 1 or 2 or something like that. Even that little nugget will be okay, we're starting to get there. We're really starting to explore this era.
I dig it. I mean, Watts has said, he's like, listen, I know other creators have said this and they were full of shit, but I'm starting to believe him. He pretty much said, listen, you can know everything about Star Wars or you can know absolutely nothing, and this show is going to go over for you well. So I think that's kind of what you're getting at. Don't give us the meat that you have to be studied up on. Let's kind of get a light dive into the Old Republic and possibly expand it out in the Mandoverse era and in other series, or maybe even in Skeleton Crew. Thanks, League. I was going to say Star Wars Order coming back for a suggestion saying we need to rank it. We did it. We actually just did it 2 or 3 weeks ago, Star Wars Order. Go ahead, check it out. We used the Tier Maker website to create our boards. We actually did a bunch of tier ranking
We did. We did
post
a lot of
Acolyte.
tier.
So if you're new here, you want to check that shit out, have at it. Welcome, Pop Boy Magic. Star Trek is better. Hey, to each their own. Listen, we're not a channel that you're going to get us too excited about with that type of stuff. So
we like Star Trek too.
Yeah,
though.
listen, I think Star Trek TV has been pretty damn competent since Paramount Plus has come out. So there you go.
For sure.
All right, appreciate all the new people coming in here. Yay, Vertical, you are doing what you should do. All right, and our last one here, maybe not, penultimate one. We need this plot by the end to directly tie into the Mandoverse threads. All right? Doesn't have to be the entire series, but by the end, this story's narrative, its main plot, should have some sort of impact or some sort of revelation about the Mandoverse era that can be picked up upon in the movie or Ahsoka Season 2.
Yeah. I think that this is kind of what, outside of Andor, like this is kind of what Star Wars TV has been built on is the Mandoverse.
Oh, yeah.
Like, well, and then outside of the Acolyte as well, there's really only been a couple of live action series that haven't dabbled in the Mandoverse. So I think that, we know that we're coming up towards this like wrapping up of the Mandoverse TV era and like seeing where all of these pieces collide. Like you mentioned, we have the Ahsoka show, we have the Mandalorian, we have Skeleton Crew. Like, where are these shows going to kind of come together? Like, is the Onyx Cinder going to be a key part of the, of the New Republic, blockade or something? Like, is it going to be a key ship in that fight, or is it going to be, somehow taken over by the bad guys and they get it? Or, like, where do these plot points converge? What are we ultimately working towards? Does Thrawn know of the Onyx Cinder? Thrawn seems like a character that should know about the Onyx Cinder because he knows about everything.
Thank you. Well, you gotta remember, Nick, this is your dummy. This is Checkers Thrawn, though. You called him Tic-Tac-Toe Thrawn.
Yeah. Tic-Tac, yes. Checkers Thrawn is Rebels Thrawn, and then you got 3D Chess Thrawn is the original Thrawn trilogy. But even Tic-Tac-Toe Thrawn should know that an old Republic pirate vessel that everybody's trying to get their hands on is probably valuable to him. There we go. We go. So like, but yeah, I think that like having some sort of, even if it is like a late season, almost like stinger or end thread,
let's connect some dots, right? Let's connect some dots. All right.
Let's start to get there.
And our last one, like I said, this is a cheap one here, but Star Wars trolls, please leave the kids alone. All right. If you got to air your grievances about Skeleton Crew, go after Jude Law. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Crossing over into the next part of our Skeleton Crew pregame. We just went through our fan ones. Now we're going to give you our predictions. So this is what we actually think could play out or will play out, right? Because we fucking killed this on the Acolyte. I don't know what that says about the Acolyte writing or our skills as soothsayers, Star Wars speculators, but we did pretty good there. Our record's usually pretty bad, so we'll always come back and revisit this episode once the series is over, so don't forget to tune in at the end of Skeleton Crew as we look back at our wants and predictions to see how good or shitty they were. All right, so let's get into some of our predictions here, starting with our boy Jad Na. So we're saying Jude Law's character, Jad Na Nawood, is going to be a morally ambiguous Force user. That means he's going to be struggling with his past and potentially undergoing throughout this series a redemption arc. Oh, God. So I kind of added on to that. I think he is going to be more Jedi adjacent than Sith adjacent, but he's going to have some severe issues. Like, this guy's got some PTSD from something that happened to him being involved with Jedi in some capacity.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to see almost like the flip side of Baylan Skoll, because Baylan Skoll was essentially a Jedi, former Jedi Padawan, or whatever he was in the Order at the time of its fall, that kind of turned to mercenary work that took him down, I wouldn't say like a dark side path, but it took him down like a more ruthless path.
Well, he felt the order failed him, and he was going to recreate it the right way, and that was his end goal.
Like, exactly. So like almost a similar way to where you're like a disenfranchised former Jedi Padawan, Jedi youngling, or something like that is now kind of turned to the more light side of crime, I would say. Whereas Balin and Shin were like mercenaries
Killing
for hire, they'll go out and kill people. This guy's kind of turned into like a petty thief.
Yeah, he's kind of like a Han Solo, you know, like will do shady shit, is in service of himself, but deep down, when it comes to rubber hitting the road, he's probably going to do the right thing.
Exactly.
He might do some shitty stuff initially. You know, Han did leave. He left the Battle of Yavin, but there's always going to be something in their gut pulling at him to do the right thing. Yeah.
So more of the lovable scoundrel archetype. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, like Jad Na is going to be a very interesting character, I think. I don't think we're fully going to know who he is or what motivates him until the finale. I really do. I think he's going to be that type of character where it could even be a major reveal. I think we have it in one of our in one of the questions of the week, kind of a Legends character that kind of got re-added to canon through the Kenobi series. So we'll talk about that once we get to the fan segment. Okay, so our next prediction for Skeleton Crew Season 1. One of the kids is going to have Force abilities. What say you?
Yeah, I think so.
And they're going to be latent. It's probably going to come out in a time of distress.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, latent Force abilities is definitely something that has been leaned into in Star Wars, like from the fucking first movie, like for lack of a better term. I mean, that like Luke Skywalker's Force abilities were relatively latent until they were brought out during his training and everything like that. So I think that this would be a perfect opportunity, especially since you're bringing in Jad Na, a character that's likely had some sort of Jedi training and can see or will be able to like recognize the Force, feel the Force in one of these kids, and really, you know, maybe over time, or maybe, you know, initially he'll be very hesitant to try to coax the Force abilities out of them, but over time we'll kind of move more into a, you know, like there are things that you can do with this that you're unaware of, and start to become a bit more of a teacher or mentor.
Okay, follow up. They're making it very obvious that Wim could be the one. I mean, from the first teaser, the first trailer, remember, he's got like Jedi shit in his room. He's looking at like a Jedi on his iPad. He's clearly engaged with it. I don't think it's going to be him because he wants it so much. Do you think it's going to be Neil or one of the girls?
I mean, those are the two that feel like it makes the most sense, especially since
it's going to be Neil.
And I don't.
It's going to be Neil.
I don't know much about Neil's race. Like,
well, apparently he is not the same as Max Rebo. I think that's come out.
Yeah, but the fact that he's able to pilot a ship as proficiently as he seems to be able to at his age really lines up with what we saw from like Anakin. I'm not saying he's going to be the chosen one or shit like that.
You better watch your mouth, dude. We're going to get canceled. We just got like 2 new followers. Come on.
Yeah. But I mean, like if you think back to like when we were first introduced to Anakin Skywalker, the way that people could really tell that he was Force sensitive was because he was able to pilot
a pod racer.
Pod racers.
Correct.
Like, you know, and this seems like Neil's thing is like, oh, well, Neil's just like a great pilot naturally. So it could be that I'm
vibing with Neil. I think Neil's gonna float something here. Look at that pimp, though. I mean, look at that. If you're on the live stream, I mean, look at that. First of all, look how great the environment looks. Like these sets look awesome.
Yeah, awesome. I like how I like that move, and I think that's been an intentional move on the creators' side of things for Star Wars. That they're like, no, we want to do practical. Like we want to be as practical as we can be. Yeah.
Like this,
so I am glad that
I think we've gotten away from Mandalorian season 1 or 2, where it's mostly all volume with the backlot set. It seems it's I would say the percentage has probably shifted 60-40, 70-30 practical to volume. I know this show uses the volume. I mean, I think when we use one of the shots, it's so clear it's the volume, but it still looks good. I mean, I'm not anti-volume at all. I think the technology actually works quite well. I think they used it extensively on Agatha all along. If you really, when they're on the road, I mean, that was all.
No, dude. No, that was all practical.
No shit.
There's a behind the scenes on YouTube, like the assembled on YouTube around Agatha. Almost everything you see in that show is practical. It's a great watch if you like behind the scenes stuff. Almost everything was practical.
Yeah, I'll check that out because we started watching the BTS for Deadpool and Wolverine, and I was like, damn, I forgot how much I enjoy this type of shit. And how much it pisses me off for not getting into the film business. And hell, even at this point in my 30s, when I was in my 30s, I was like, oh, I'm too old. Now I'm in my 40s. I'm like, well, I'm definitely too old now. Oh, well.
Yeah, hey, film companies need IT people.
Right. Fuck, I don't want to do. That's the thing. I don't want to do IT. I hate IT.
Yeah.
Like I fucking hate it. If I'm not teaching it, I want nothing to do with it.
I know how you feel.
I don't even like doing my own IT. That's why I'll go 7 years on a busted ass system. You remember, like last year at this time, I still had my old rig. Trying to get through a stream, like a live stream, was like trying to race a steamboat against a rocket boat. Like that's what I was doing. I was being a dickhead just because I didn't want to fix anything. Rebel Rock Radio asking, have we talked about Rebuild the Galaxy? Yeah, I mean, way back then.
That was like
we're pretty current, man. We tend to cover current topics right away. So yeah, we talked about it. We both enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, Rebuild the Galaxy.
Yeah, no problem, Rebel Rock. Hey, anytime we get new listeners, we cater to them. That's how we go. We are butt sniffers here at the SWTS. You want us to get up and dance and flick our nipples around? We'll do that too. All right, let's get back to it.
I think if you go into our YouTube archive, you could probably just type in "Rebuild the Galaxy." It's likely in one of the titles of our recent podcasts.
That YouTube's got its searchable AI working a bit better on videos these days. You should be able to
hope so.
Pull that shit up. All right, let's get to our next prediction here. Oh, there he is, your buddy, my friend. There he is in all his glory. What is that? That's Lars, right? Lars Mikkelsen.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
So, we wanted to see it, and now we are predicting we're going to see it. So we are thinking for sure this series is going to tie into the Mandoverse. And Nick even brought it up, and I wasn't even thinking about it from this perspective, but Thrawn, he's back in the galaxy, who knows how close Skeleton Crew is to the events of Ahsoka. You would hope they're taking place after, so the timeline doesn't get all fucked up and confusing like Mando Season 3. But like Nick was saying, I mean, if anyone in the Remnant would pick up a holo signal about a random pirate ship that popped up, it's this guy right here. And I don't think we can make him a large focus, but even if it's a 30-second scene where he's on his ship hovering over Dathomir and he gets the message, that's what we're talking about. Like, let's tie the Mandoverse together. Let's use this series to kind of fill in some gaps. It's been a while. I mean, it's been over a year. Well, I guess, over a year since we've checked in on the Mandoverse. I mean, since the end of Ahsoka, we don't know what the fuck's going on, and this show makes perfect sense to let us know.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this ship is clearly of interest. Thrawn knows that when he re-enters this galaxy, he's going to be at a super huge disadvantage, just given the state of everything. Since he has gone, the Empire has fully fallen. Even the Remnant has suffered losses and is now kind of in a mode where the Shadow Council is doing just what they can, but even the more prominent arms of the Remnant Empire have been defeated. Like we saw that in Mando Season 3 with the defeat of Gideon and his forces. He knows that he's going to need a lot of powerful allies on his side and a lot of powerful weaponry. And I'm assuming that if this is a pirate vessel from the Old Republic, it's probably juiced in terms of its ability to
or
fight.
It knows where to find something that can juice anything else. You plug it into a Star Destroyer and now you have a planet cracker or something like that. So
yeah, true. Because I mean, the Old Republic was just an era at war. Right, it was nothing but conflict. And I know that's kind of what it seems like now anyway.
Yeah, pure conflict.
Yeah, I mean, you had you had a constant war between Jedi and Sith. Like even like before that, you had Mandalorian wars, and you had the Jedi versus the Mandalorian Crusaders, and then you have all of this conflict that's constantly happening. So it's like if you're just bumming around the galaxy as just like a traveling credit tax attorney, your ship needed to have fucking missiles on it just in case you got caught up in some weird dogfights. So I think that this thing is probably packing heat, if I had to take a guess, and that's going to be to Thrawn's interest.
We're getting all sorts of fan requests here. So Nick, while I'm listening, I'm multitasking, I'm writing them down. They're demanding Thrawn emojis for our members,
and then us
and
emojis.
Matt and Nick emojis. All right, I'll tell you what. If we can get,
I wonder if we can
get a
just
few more.
take our.
Oh, I can make them now.
Then we can open.
I have an app to make AI. I'll prompt us up there. But I'll tell you what, if we get a few more members, that's going to unlock more emojis for us to roll out. That's kind of the thing. We are limited on the amount of member-only emojis until we get more members. So we've kind of stagnated with our initial group, which we love all you kick ass. But if you convince some other people to cough up some cash for the SWTS, then we can start adding all the emojis you want.
As little as $1.99 a month.
That's right. I was telling him earlier, Nick, League is in the Dark Lord of the Sith tier, so she gets a red line, direct access to the host, and she requested the Dr. Aphra episode from Artificial Scott and Sally. So that's the type of perks you get. All right, enough of the commercial. Up next for our predictions, and there we go. That's a volume set, I believe, if you're on the live stream. But we are going to get multiple new planets and alien types. I mean, just from the trailer itself, we're going to get Attin. That's the old Republic planet that the kids grew up on and disappear from. I don't know if we can call it a planet, but we're going to get that asteroid base, the pirate slip, whatever we want to call that. We're going to the drab planet, if you will, where it looks like their ship is almost going to be eaten by another big ship. And then the Vandor-like planet, the planet from Solo, where the train heist takes place. It looks like one of those. So I mean, we're clearly going to get this. Hopefully, they're brand new, never heard of them. But these planets they're not just locations. Nick, I want them to have meaning. Why are
historical?
Exactly. Why are we going here? What happened here in the past? Why is it important that we're here now?
Yeah. I would assume that they were going to give the locations that we go to some sort of significance. I mean, I wouldn't say all of them, because obviously there's going to be pit stops and stuff like that. But I feel like there are going to be very key locations that Jad Na is going to try to go to in the search for relics that he may be in search for, or really trying to like crack into this ship's navigational computer and understand like, hey, what's the last travel log of this? Like, what was the last 3 planets it went to? So let me go check those out, and then really kind of find out the history of those locations and find out like why they're important to Star Wars lore and what he's looking for and everything like that. Like, could we end up on Korriban? Like, Korriban is a very famous planet in the Old Republic, seat of the Sith Empire, and all of this type of stuff.
That would be fun.
Could we end up on Tython again? Like, obviously we've seen Tython already, but like if you're talking about like historical Old Republic locations, like these are planets that have deep history to not only the Old Republic, but the galaxy as a whole. Like, I would love to see exploration of some of those planets that held deep significance during that time. Oricon was like another like super dark planet. I mean, Balmora, a lot of these different planets, Terrace. If you've played those games, you know these planet names. Like, I think it would be fantastic if you took like a jaunt through Old Republic history through planetary travel. It would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for that. I want to touch on this from BMAD, and it might sound crazy to start, but hear me out, everyone. BMAD's saying, what if we get another Skywalker save for the finale? And you're like, no, that makes no sense. But think about what Luke was up to at this point in time. He's out looking for Jedi and Sith artifacts, and we are kind of speculating that so is Jadna. I do not think this happens. I also said this Mandalorian season 2, so I'm not going to completely discount it. But there could be potential to have Luke show up going, hey man, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
yeah,
I know what this shit is. It's dangerous.
That also kind of feeds it. I've seen people in our chat saying it, and I've seen people on the internet saying it as well. Like, could Jad Na become a Kyle Katarn type of character? And with his like Force abilities that we know he has, and then in this galaxy where Force users are not a dime a dozen like they used to be, that's kind of how Kyle and Luke came together.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's the Jedi Outcast game, right, Nick? Jedi Outcast.
Yeah, the Jedi Outcast game. So like that, it opens up the possibility for something like that, where like, you know, Jad Na is looking for this relic. So is Luke. They run into each other, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, like I can tell that you've had some sort of formal Force training before. Could Jad Na end up becoming associated with Luke Skywalker's new Jedi Academy and new Jedi Training Center? Like, there's a lot of different avenues he could take for sure.
That's why we pay this guy the big bucks. Right there, young Nick coming through with a big one. Someone write that down and give me a goddamn trophy. Let's go. The man deserves a trophy. Let's go, live stream members. Rock it out. All right, next prediction there. That was a good one there, Nick. Okay, so we are saying here that we're predicting a formal remnant or New Republic character, or I guess current New Republic character, will play a significant role, possibly as an antagonist or unexpected ally. We're thinking Tiva and his pilots, or possibly, as we've been discussing, someone from the Shadow Council. It could be Hux's dad, Captain Pelion, Thrawn himself, you know?
I think that in this instance, it would make a lot of sense that the Shadow Council would start to try to dabble in this first, especially knowing that that Jad Na is very focused on like personal gain at this point. You know, like if they approach him, or if they can like reach out to this ship and say like, hey, we'll give you some a little bit of scratch if you hand over the ship to us, and really kind of pull on his more selfish side of things. I think that could be really interesting. Tiva almost assuredly is going to be involved in there. I think, you know, from that one shot of the X-Wing that we saw from the previous trailer, like
he's kind of become the New Republic guy that gets mixed up in these far, you know, outer rim skirmishes, and typically helps in a way that New Republic wouldn't love, but he understands, like, all right, you're doing good work. You're just not doing it the way we would do it.
Exactly. Yeah, like he's the guy that is like, he's going to allow you to get away with some shit that that the higher ups probably wouldn't, but he knows that you're doing it for a good reason. Right, yeah. So I'm very interested. He's
the easy one. I would like to be surprised, but I think Tiva is pretty much a guarantee. So take that one to the bank, as we like to say over here. Next prediction for Skeleton Crew Season 1. You know, we're going to get a full-on exposure, a deep dive into what happened out in these parts of the galaxy after the fall of the Empire, and particularly what I would assume is the extreme lawlessness of pirate space. I mean, we know just around Tatooine that the New Republic has a hard time kind of, sheriffing that territory. What the hell has been happening out in these uncharted parts of the galaxy, the unknown regions, if you will, if we're headed out here? What's it like? Is there an organization that kind of runs things? Is it just pirates? You know, is it like that? You know, the real life, what was it called? Not Pirate Island, but we essentially, they had their own piece of property that pirates essentially took over for a little bit.
I mean, I think the best reference that I have for this, and I keep going back to it, is Pirates of the Caribbean. It's Disney, so obviously they may pull some references from that. So like having these neutral ports like Tortuga or something like that from Pirates of the Caribbean, or like the Pirate Cove, which was where in the third one, like all of the pirate captains kind of came together and had that giant meeting. Like there's a lot of opportunity to do stuff like that, where it's like, hey, look, you know, like I wouldn't be surprised if like when we get to this pirate base, like people start to throw down, but it gets broken up because they're like, look, we're on neutral territory. No fucking fights here. No murders here. Like once you get out there, you can do your own thing. But when you're here,
they do have a code. It's very very liberal and loose, but they do have a code.
Yeah, like exactly. Like establishing that pirate code and how they interact with each other. Because if pirates just killed other pirates every time they saw them, there would be no pirates. Like, so just like understanding that side of it.
Yeah, I mean, we should potentially get some sort of conversation or exposition on what's happening here now that the Pirate King Gorn is gone. What sort of vacuum took place? Did Vane get in there and kind of whip out his little schlangy to make his name and kind of put his hat into the race? Or are there multiple pirate kings and they just overtook Gorn's territories and whatnot?
Exactly. Like, how is it run? Or is it like, is this where Hondo comes in? And there's like a pirate captain off to see who's going to be the pirate leader versus, Vane versus Hondo. And like,
he's long retired as a pirate king, but Hondo should be running his official business that's a front for his smuggling operation at this point in time.
So I really do think that there's a lot of opportunity here to really establish how piracy works in Star Wars. And that may seem like a heavy lift for this show to do, is like establish an entire underworld culture within, whatever it is, 8 episodes. But I think if they do it, like if they spend enough time on this pirate base, they can do it very easily just based off of like side interactions and like, like kids picking up conversation from people who are discussing things around. So I am very excited to see how they develop this part of Star Wars, because it opens up a whole new avenue for storytelling. And that's kind of what Star Wars is all about, right? Is telling stories from different perspectives in the galaxy. And I think that this one is a very new and fresh one that we can start to explore.
Yeah. I'm with B-Mad. Hondo Pirate King would be amazing, and would be cool to see Ezra reunite with him in live action. And that's all, that potential's on the table. Hondo has a soft spot for Ezra. We know Ezra's back in the known universe. I don't think you get this in Skeleton Crew, but if you do introduce Hondo in Skeleton Crew, he's now a player on the chessboard for Ahsoka Season 2. So, yeah, this is what we're working towards. We're trying to put it out there into the universe. I know it's already been written, filmed, and ready to go, and they'll probably fuck it up. But that's Star Wars. We love it. There's always time for it. Another one from B-Mad real quick asking, is Skeleton Crew going to be filler? I don't think it's going to be filler. I actually think it's going to be a very fun story, and by the end, it will have moved, as you're calling it, the Thrawn verse forward a bit. It might not even touch on Thrawn at all, but I think through, as Nick was saying, side conversations, stuff they're picking up on other planets across the galaxy, we are going to hear some things that as fans we're going to go, oh, okay, I see where we're at after Ahsoka Season 1, or I see what's going on after the Mandalorians took back Mandalore. So yeah, I do believe that is going to be a thing. This is not going to be filler. There is no filler in Star Wars, B-Mad. You know my rule about that. All right, here we go. Next prediction. Hondo cameo won't be the only one. So we're saying straight up Hondo's making it. And if he doesn't, well, I'm not going to say anything stupid, because we know Star Wars creatives don't go for the low-hanging fruit. We write Tiva, Zeb.
I feel like this is a good opportunity for Zeb to come in. He's been hanging out with Tiva. Sure. They've essentially teased him, but they've never really put him in anything more than a scene.
Bro, they didn't even include him in Ahsoka.
In Ahsoka, yeah, I know. It's but if you're gonna do it, and he really is working with Tiva and his squad, just have Zeb in there, because Zeb works well with kids. I'll say that. I feel like the dynamic of Zeb and kids just works well together.
Well, guess what? Zeb and Hondo have a relationship too. So that could be the vehicle to bring Hondo in.
Yeah.
Or Hondo calling Zeb. I mean, hey, I got New Republic connections to help you against these pirates. And he calls up old Zebby boy. Rebel Rock Radio.
That would be awesome.
Dr. Afra cameo. I gotta go.
That could be cool too. Like she's a relic hunter, right?
Exactly.
Like
I mean,
she's also in that.
She's custom built for this adventure. I just don't know where she's at this point in time. I mean, dude, if you read the comic runs, hers would weave in the Vader. I mean, she essentially became this like mythical being. Like she could turn into a different spirit. Essentially, she fought Vader with this artifact that she had. So I don't even know if she's like still her core Dr. Aphra at this point in time. But yeah, I'm with you, Rebel Rock. I mean, her character, what her character gets into is she's basically a pirate. She's Indiana Jones of Star Wars.
Yeah. So I mean, I agree. I would love to see Dr. Aphra included in it. There's so many different, like, I don't want to call them stealth Star Wars characters, but like lesser known Star Wars characters that could be easily involved in it. Like we mentioned before, like like the lesser known bounty hunters getting involved, bringing in pirates, bringing in relic hunters, like Dr. Aphra. Like there's so much exploration that makes sense in this show that doesn't make sense in other Star Wars properties that they could really dive into. So I'm excited to see that angle.
Yeah, Rebel Rock was asking if we're reading the Battle of Jakku, and that's a no. I've given up Star Wars comics after the way the Vader and the proper Star Wars kind of ended in that last run. It just got stupid as shit.
You were holding it down for a long time.
It was good. I mean, it was good stuff. I thought there was some good lore coming, but then it just got really dumb. I mean, after the War of the Bounty Hunters, and there was one other crossover with Crimson Dawn, it's just like, who cares? Darth Vader getting infected by bots. Darth Vader joining the side Imperial with slime wards. Like, come on. Like, who gives a shit? All right, so there we go. Hondo, Zeb, Tiva, Shadow Council. Those are all valid. I don't think we get any big players outside of B-Mad's Hail Mary of Luke showing up at a Sith or Jedi artifact site. Because, I mean, that would make sense. I still don't think they're going to bring out the big guns for this one. All right, next prediction here, and this is, it's kind of like no shit, asshole, but we really, I mean, I guess you could say Luke, Rey, they sort of had coming of age, but not really. They were late teens. They were 18, 19. This is the first time we're really going to be hunkered down from start to finish with young characters. And I do think we're going to see a coming of age story, very much like Goonies, where these group of friends, they may not be the best of friends, but by the end of it, they will be lifelong friends. They will be different because of this journey. They will interact with their world differently because of this journey. And I like those types of stories of growth, self-discovery, little people kind of figuring out how they fit into the world.
Yeah. And like, it's such a, like, the show itself and like the coming of age story fits this so well because it is literally going to be like they are pulled out of their everyday lives in a big way and introduced to a galaxy so large that they can't even fully comprehend it. Mm-hmm. And just seeing how they grapple with that and seeing how they form bonds with each other, because I believe, at least thus far, we do think that, like, at the very least, they're not all friends. Like, they're not a tight friend group.
Yeah, it's Neil and Wim, and then Fern and KB, and like we speculated, because Fern and Wim get busted at the same time, and he tells her about the secret he found. That's where they might all be in the same school, the same class, but they're not best friends to start.
Exactly. So, like, you'll get to see this group grow closer together as friends and as individuals, but you'll also get to see, like, their talents emerge, and I think that's going to be really interesting. Like, we already know
the Force could
Neil,
come out,
whoever the Force user is could come out. We already know that Neil's strength is he's a great pilot, but, like, what about the others? What about Fern and KB, and what about Wim? Like, what are their specialties? Like, maybe Fern is like the tech one. Like, she's really good. I think with, she's like, the leader. Things.
I think KB with the Lobot like implants. She's gonna be like their tech person.
Yeah, I flipped them. I think you're right.
Wim is their dreamer. He's the adventure guy, and then, like you said,
he'll be like the creative one that comes up with, like, oh, we can't figure this out, and he's like, oh, what if we do this?
And Neil's the one. Neil, they may make Neil out to be kind of like a bumblefuck. but then he's really going to shine in a time of need, and his friends are going to be like, "Oh my God, Neil,
Yeah,
Neil did that." Just kind of like when the Jod says, "Let Neil fly," and they're all like, "Are you fucking kidding me? That Neil? You want him to fly?" All right. Looking at this screenshot, Nick, I was just thinking about this while we're talking. This could very well be taking place after they make their way back to Attin, because look who they're with. They're with Wim's dad, and Fern's not there.
Yeah, he's on the
It
speeder,
looks like
so
shit's blowing up. Like either they're chasing someone or being chased. So you never know. You never know. Little things always pop into our speculative brains here. All right, kind of another trope that we think we're predicting that we're going to experience through Skeleton Crew's 8 episodes is the themes of found family and belonging. You know, so we're obviously going to see the young characters bond with each other, and eventually Jude Law's character, even though I think he is going to try to fuck them over. It's going to be kind of like a rom-com in that they're going to buddy up. He's going to pretend like he's helping them. He's going to fuck them over, and then he's going to feel bad about it and come back and do the right thing. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
That sounds about right to me. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. Is like he sees these kids as an easy mark, especially with this ship.
Yep.
And then I don't want to say he gets what he wants and then he bolts and just leaves them in the lurch, but like he probably gets enough and he's like, all right, I don't need these kids anymore, and then leaves and then realizes
it's going to be a sellout in some capacity. Like he's not going to kill them or get them locked up, but like you're saying, he's just going to be like, peace out. Like I've got what I needed out of you. And I do think we're also going to learn about Jod's past and the fact that he was a Jedi. And the reason I'm still kind of attaching myself to this theory is we saw that casting that I brought up a few weeks back where this actress is listed as Jedi Nina Nawood.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's real, there's got to be a connection there. Is it his sister, like we were saying? Because we're like, Jedi didn't really get married in that time period and take names. So is it his sister? Does he think something happened to his sister? Maybe something did happen to his sister and he blames the Jedi, and that's why he's kind of walked away and is doing goofy shit. So I think we're going to get all this through this found family trope that's typically present in a child-led adventure series like this.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. And then coming down to the last two, making good time here. We're definitely, we want to see it, but we're also going to get it. There is going to be some sort of mysterious artifact or piece of tech that is going to be the main driver of the plot. This is going to lead our characters on this galaxy-spanning quest that we've been wanting to see, new aliens, new planets. And I do think it is going to be mystical. So it could be tied to Jedi, Sith, the Mortis gods, right? Because they're a part of this timeline now. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, Balin was looking for Peridia. Yeah. Why would this guy, if he's a Force user, maybe not want to seek out that type of power? So this artifact, this tech, like we've been saying, maybe it's tech on the ship, maybe it's coordinates on the ship, but it's going to take them to an artifact or technology that is going to be the main motivation of Jadna, of the pirates, and possibly even SM-33 if he snaps out of it. You got to remember that he's the first mate of the Onyx Cinder. He went to At-18 for a reason. If his programming wakes up, he may remember that reason and fuck everyone up. So this artifact, this tech, it is going to be the main plot, not the kids getting lost.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. I think that was made pretty clear by that shot of the treasure room. Yeah. Like, there's clearly an end goal here. And like, clearly this end goal, whether it be for one set of characters, like the pirates, like the pirate treasure, the big chest of gold, for Jadna's character, the relics of Jedi's past or Force users past is probably his end goal. So there is definitely like a driving force behind it, and I do think that it's going to be something related to Old Republic lore in history, like whether it's like Revan's mask or something of that like high significance. I think would be an awesome thing to have at the end of this, to be like literally like last episode, did he get what he gets? Like maybe in one scene you see him like stash something, but you never see what it is. And then in the last episode, you see the reveal. And imagine if it's fucking Revan's mask. Like everybody would lose it. It's like, oh my God, like the first actual introduction to Revan's character through this relic that has persisted through history for tens of thousands of years, that was found by these kids in this like former Jedi Padawan or something. I think that would be fucking awesome.
Well, I mean, I know Revan wasn't like Momin, but maybe they could spin it that he dumped his essence into the mask. I mean, wasn't that what Momin did? Isn't that how Sith persisted? They would dump their essence into an object.
They like I guess you would say like adjusted the lore behind that a bit. But yeah, that is one way, is like they could like transfer their essence into an object, and then that way, like wherever that object persists, their spirit persists. But it used to, like old lore was like wherever they were killed and they died is where their spirit persisted forever. So like it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they handle that. But it could be, yeah. I mean, like the like Revan's mask to hold his spirit and essence would be the perfect thing for his character.
All right. Real quick, I stumbled upon something while we were looking at that screenshot. So if you look in the cave walls, everyone, and notice the icon of, the etchings on the wall.
Iconography.
Guess what? Pull up Sith writing.
Boom.
And look at that.
There we go.
Like I've got it up on the stream right now. I mean, I don't know about you, Nick. They look pretty fucking familiar, right?
Yeah, that looks pretty spot on there. Pretty spot on. So, and I mean, look, I've already said I would love if we could go to Korriban. Korriban is a desert. There's a billion desert planets in fucking Star Wars, but Korriban is a desert planet. It's hard to see what the topography is of that place that from that screenshot, but it looks like it's
right here, dude,
sandily colored. I'll just put it that way.
This is a Zepho temple
temple.
And again, look on the frames. I mean, it.
Yeah.
So here we go. Here we fucking go. All right. Last but not least, our prediction here: the usual trolls will go after the kids. So yeah, just expect to have some shitty human on human interaction here, even going after little kids. Hopefully Jude Law's whiteness can blunt some of it, but I just got a bad feeling that some of the bozos out there will try to get some juice on Twitter in particular by going after the kiddos, and that's just the world we live in.
And hey, if you're watching this show and you're enjoying it, and you're like you really feel
put it out there,
like the show's doing a good job, like go on the stuff and comment, or like go on to like Star Wars posts about the show and comment, say like, hey man, I really like this show.
Do it on our posts,
specifically
do it on our content.
Do it on our content that we do about it. Yeah, I mean, like just put positivity out there.
Thank you.
Put positivity out there around it.
And then, go outside and punch someone in the stomach just to kind of level it out. All right.
There you go.
All right, man. Well, there we go. We just pre-gamed Skeleton Crew for you. We're not going to be here next week, so hopefully, you can make it 14 days before our next live stream presentation, in which we will be breaking down episodes 1 and 2 of Skeleton Crew. I am excited, even though it means my life for the next 7 weeks. Well, we're going to get 2 weeks off for Christmas, because there's no way I'm getting up and doing my rat race during Christmas Day or New Year's Day. But we're going to be right to it, talking about the good stuff. New Star Wars coming at you. What's that going to be? December 4. That'll be our next live stream. But fear not, we are not done yet. You regulars know we always close out the show with the fan segment. So if you're new here, we offer up a fan segment. We do our I didn't even do the Ask Us Anything, so I'll save some of those for next week. Sorry about that, people. We just got going and looking at the clock. We don't have time for it, but that just means we were talking about Star Wars, and that's all that matters. But fear not, those of you that put out Ask Us Anything prompts, we will tackle those in 2 weeks. Don't worry about it. But anyways, we're at the fan segment. 2 ways to get involved. First way is going to be the question of the week, which we're going to get into here in about 5 seconds. The way to get involved there is follow us on our socials. Be in our Discord. Discord link is open in the description of this video, or you can check us out on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube is where we post the question of the week. You just have to respond grease the algorithm a little bit so you can even see it, and we will feature that on the show during the fan segment. So let's go get some screens minimized here. I can see that's not working. Oh, that was pre-show. There you go. Go away, browser. Oh, we still have Ask Us Anything up. Sorry about that. You know what, Nick? I'm gonna do Abby's Ask Us Anything because they're Thanksgiving related and they won't make sense after. So real quick, Nick, do you Black Friday or Cyber Monday?
We do, and the primary thing that we're looking for during this one is a vent hood, like an over your stove vent hood.
Isn't life just gets so exciting the older you get? It's no longer Black Friday for TVs and game consoles. It's for vent hoods.
It's for vent hoods. But we cook every day, so like right now we just have the regular microwave vent, and it's not cutting the mustard. So
attaboy. Look at this Master Chef Nick here.
So yeah, we're looking for a better vent hood. That's our Black Friday. Yeah, Cyber Monday.
I don't fuck with it. I don't really care. I mean, sales are sales. Sales persist throughout the year. I mean, young Nick would tell us best if we're actually getting any deals at Black Friday because he kind of slings marketing and advertising.
Yeah.
Typically, listen.
I will tell you this. It's 10% higher than it usually is. Yeah. That's what your average savings is over other sales throughout the year. If you actually track them, people will usually push their Black Friday sales up 10% from any other time. Yeah,
so
typically, some of them leave them the same, and they're just like, it's the best sale of the year. Right. But if you go back and look at their other sales, it's the exact same.
That's kind of the point I was driving at. But I will admit, one time in my life, I did the dumb shit. And I went out like early in the morning, and it was just I was in Waynesburg, PA, where my wife's family's from. Her cousin's husband just got done with mouth cancer, and he wanted something to do, wanted to get out and feel like a human again, and that's what they wanted to do. So we got up at 3 or 4 to go around and putts, and I would never do that again. So fucking it was just stupid. It was.
That's I've done that one time as well.
It's the worst of humanity is that stuff.
It was literally just to experience it. I was like, I have to just see what it's about. Terrible. And I was like, I'm glad I don't do this.
It's terrible. It's disgusting. Yeah. Like, it's disgusting. Okay, I know, Abby, you had a few other here. Well, shit, Barron's is timely. Thoughts on the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight?
Okay, I will say that I did not watch it. I caught clips, but it was exactly what I thought it was. It was a fucking farce.
I'm an idiot. Like I lost $50. For some reason, I thought Mike could catch him with one good one in the first 2 rounds, but...
I thought it was free on Netflix.
No, I gambled $50.
Oh, you gambled $50. I was like, what?
Now, real quick, listen, I encourage Netflix to do more of this. I kind of like these jerky off fights. The undercard wasn't bad. Barron's asking that too. I actually think the females probably had the best fight, even though it was cheap. That one Irish lady just kept headbutting the other motherfucker and almost ripped her eye out. But outside of Mike Tyson's flat ass being broadcasted and him just looking old is like, yeah, I mean, whatever. It was fun. It was something to have on the background as we were playing euchre. I just want to know, did you experience, or anyone if you're on, did you experience the mega buffering that a lot of people bitched about? Because I did not.
Dude, my friends, my friends were, for some reason, fully into this motherfucker, but they were all like, nobody could watch it.
Holy shit.
Nobody could watch it.
Because I assume your friends aren't, fucking homeless people with no broadband, but I had it on 3 TVs throughout the house. And I've 1 gig down, nothing special, and they were all on Apple TV units. So I don't know. Was it using Apple TV? Is it my down? I don't know. But I did not see a single buffer. When I looked at social media and everyone's like, fuck this. How's Netflix going to air 2 NFL games on Christmas Day? You can't even watch this shitty fight. And I'm like, what are you people talking about? I didn't see shit. But apparently Netflix took one on the chin, so much so that people are scared that on Christmas Day they're not going to get to watch Steelers Chiefs and Ravens someone else. So Netflix, get your shit together. All right, back to Abby. What's your favorite Thanksgiving side dish, Nick?
My favorite Thanksgiving side dish, I would probably have to say the stuffing. I'm a big stuffing fan. Stuffing. I don't usually eat heavier stuff like that during the week, but when it comes around to holiday season. That's when I pack on the LBs. I'll eat the stuffings. I'll eat the cornbread dressing and all that stuff. So that's probably my.
This is a tough one because there's a lot of sides I appreciate at this time of year that I don't get really throughout the year. I'd probably go green bean casserole, but it's tough not to like throw in some form of cheesy potatoes, like either scalloped potatoes mashed with cheese in it. Oh. All right. I think that was it in terms of our timely questions. Let me make sure. Be mad. We'll get your. All right. Yep.
Yeah. We'll
save the other ones for next week. And now let's get to the question of the week. So we asked our fans, what is one prediction or want of yours for Skeleton Crew?
All right. First response here is from Abigail Sky, and she says Jude Law's character might start off shady / tricky / untrustworthy, but end up a real stand-up good dude through the power of friendship. She's probably right. She's probably right.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good prediction from Diamond.
Yep. And then we
Divided
Skywalker. Then we got Clone Wars 501 says old-fashioned Star Wars fun. Hey, looking
Nothing
forward
wrong
to
with
it.
that.
Looking forward to it. Indeed. 2797 Studios says live action Hondo LFG. We'll see. We've thought about these types of things before, and
seems
the
like
LFG
a no-brainer,
never came,
but
so
there's been a lot of no-brainers that have not happened. So we'll see.
EKU Rory, he wants his favorite character in live action.
I need to just
again,
buy him a Jar Jar blow-up doll so he can get this shit out of his system.
He's just got to bang it out with Jar Jar. So.
I will, Smit. I will get the multi-hole version for you too.
There you go. Aries Lego Legends and
Here
More
it is.
says
This is the deep cut I was talking about.
This is a super deep cut, and I read the Corn Horn books, and I appreciate Aries Lego Legends and More bringing this up. Jude Law playing Corn Horn under a pseudonym, which would be super interesting. Corn Horn is a very interesting character that was first introduced in the X-Wing novels and Legends that ended up becoming a like a Jedi Force sensitive type of character. I think that would be super cool. A similar, I don't want to say similar, like same vein of character as Kyle Katarn.
Boom.
Could be very interesting if they brought in Corn Horn.
Well, here's the deal, Nick. What I said earlier, I believe in the Kenobi series. Do you remember when Kumail Nanjiani's character kind of dupes a mom and a son into paying him for safe passage? Apparently that was Corn Horn, the boy.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy.
He already has been kind of folded back in. So hey, I don't think it's that far off of a prediction.
Yeah, hey, that
would be a
cool.
deep ass cut because that's a character like my dumbass. No, like until I saw that buzz around the Kenobi series, I was like, who the fuck are these people talking about,
dude? Like that is such a because you have to know a very specific set of novels to know that guy from. And Corn's a great character. I love Cornhorn as a character, and I would love to see him folded into the live action shows as well. So good call out there from Aries Lego Legends and More. Calro Debro says Hondo comes in at the end and saves them.
Sure.
Hey man, we're all hoping for it.
We're expecting it, but we're also expecting to be disappointed.
Yeah. And then Michael Kramer 98 says Hondo. That's right.
So this just solidifies Hondo ain't showing up.
Yeah, he's not coming.
The fact that
this many people,
it's not happening.
It seems like Dave Filoni in the process of making a show, or is like right before a show comes out, like comes and looks at our feed and it's like, what do all the Star Wars time show fans want?
Fuck those idiots.
They want Hondo. He's out.
Yeah.
Cut the scenes.
Yeah, his goal on life is to make us look bad.
Yeah, exactly. So, Dave, if you're listening, we know you are. Don't cut the Hondo scenes, man. The people want it. So leave them in there. But that is the end of the question of the week. Thank you, everybody, for taking part. If you want to submit your responses for question of the week, make sure to follow us at StarWarsTime.show on Instagram. We put out our question of the week every week on Tuesdays, so make sure you check out our feed, you follow, keep your eyes open, and when you see that question, you drop your response either in our story replies or on the post itself. And now we are going to move into the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. To get involved with this one, also follow at StarWarsTime.show on Instagram and tag us, add tag at StarWarsTime.show. That is how you fall into our tagged feed, and that's where I pull the top 5 from every week. So to kick this week off, we have at Darth Necros on Instagram, and he's given us an awesome shot of cracked mask Vader on the deck of an Imperial ship, lightsaber ignited. I love the use of practical stuff here. Like, not a lot of, like the lightsaber looks great. You can see the cotton balls in the back making the smoke, the explosion little piece off in the background as well. I think that the posing here is great. The cracked mask Vader always looks so awesome, and I love the use of truly practical stuff here to make that explosion. They got the old
cotton ball effect, and then the orange thing back there is like an actual explosive prop, probably from another toy.
Yeah. But lighting is good. I love the red lighting to accent the scene and everything else. So at Darth Necros, Nekros on Instagram. Make sure to give them a follow.
I need a cough
Next
button.
up. Yeah, you need that.
It's like as soon as we moved to fan segment, like my voice is just it's had enough.
Dude, last week, I feel you, brother. I was dealing with that shit last week. My eyes were fucking black because all of my sinuses. But yeah, you cough it out, I'll keep going. Next up, Galactic Photography 66 hitting us with one of the characters we talked about earlier in the show, director Orson Krennic, and a bunch of Scarif troopers in the background. So Orson Krennic making his way to a potential showdown. Is it on Scarif?
Hell yeah, man. Shore troopers.
Oh yeah, and there's actually right in the front, you can kind of see Cassian sitting
getting
there.
Ready to pop his ass.
Yeah, getting ready to pop out and pop him. So, great setup here. I love the diorama used. I love the posing on Krennic. It looks like he is in mid-walk. Posing on the shore troopers is great. Overall, good lighting. Great setup here from Galactic Photography 66.
Yeah, I love the kind of the pull focus they got there. Where Krennic is clearly the subject, but the blur going on is fantastic to really give like depth.
You get foreground and background blur, 100. Really giving good depth of field. So good stuff there. And here it is. Tong Wars was here earlier, dropped in to say hi. And Tong Wars, if you're not familiar with Tong Wars on Instagram, you should be. This guy puts out high quality Lego Star Wars pictures all the time. Look at this
fucking thing, dude.
It's just fantastic. We see a full Galactic Republic setup here from Tong Wars. You see the clone troopers there down in the mud. You see the walkers. You see the Imperial troop transport ships and everything. My cat is trying to eat a cough drop that I have on my desk.
Come on, kitty.
Yeah, come on, Elle. Don't do that, sweetie.
Mine chews on cardboard boxes if I don't give her attention. Like, she'll rip up boxes right in front of me and be like, all right, is it time?
That's one of their things. Our other cat, Izzy, likes to eat plastic bags and almost choke herself to death, so we have to be very careful.
I love silly walnut brain cats.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, this Tong War shot, and for those of you out there, again, this practical setup here, the Tong Wars lives by just
he lives on
most
the fucking
awesome
moon, man. He lives on Venus or the moon or something.
So just absolutely fantastic work by Tong. Always a good follow on Instagram at Tong Wars. Make sure to follow. Next up, we have Betty Ione SW, and Betty Ione hits us with it. I love the crispiness of this shot, the cleanliness of this shot, and the signage. I love the signage where it says Empire this way, Republic this way, and on the Republic side, what do you see? A bunch of clone trooper helmets, RIP clone troopers. And then the remnant stormtrooper or the remaining stormtrooper standing there on the Imperial side. A clean setup, excellent posing, excellent use of props and setup. Just fantastic work by Betty Ione _SW. And finally, to close out this week's top 5, we have at Lionworks on Instagram. Lionworks giving us a showdown that we wish we could have seen.
He's like cutting his face plate off, right? It's not even his whole head.
It's wild. So yes, what we see here is Luke Skywalker in his full like black outfit Luke get up from we've seen it in Mandalorian season 2, we've seen it in RTJ, we've seen it plenty times before with his green boy lightsaber cutting the faceplate off of General Grievous in mid swing. I mean, the shot is clean as hell. The effects are always clean from Lineworks. And I mean, this is like some really awesome like fan fan fiction type of stuff happening here. Luke Skywalker fighting General Grievous.
Yeah, no, I think this is a really cool kind of what if scenario. You know what I mean? And
That
again, it
is
just
right.
shows you the beauty of 1/6 scale figures, and the fact that Lineworks got a General Grievous to somewhat comply and pose, that's worth recognition in and of itself. So kudos, Lineworks.
There we go. So that's the end of the top 5, and that's the end of our show for this week. So Matt, go ahead and close us out in an abbreviated way so you don't kill yourself.
Hey Nova, thanks, buddy. I appreciate you. You know what? As shit as I felt and going into it, as much as I didn't really want to do it, I kind of had a feeling just doing it would take my mind out of feeling like shit for a few hours. So while I'm crashing pretty hard right now because we went longer than I even anticipated, it helped. So, and that's why we love you people and you diehards that show up every week in the live stream. Those of you on the podcast only version are downloading every week, adding to our numbers. We seriously do appreciate y'all, as Nick would say. So keep it coming. Let's go. Let's keep building this thing. We got some good numbers today. I don't know what the vertical feed was putting out there, but I think we had almost like 500 at some point. Yeah, 452 over on the vertical. Not bad. So if you're new here, you liked what you saw, we love a subscription. If you really want to get involved and you want to be like Divide Skywalker and get your custom Darth Vader cat emoji, don't forget we do offer memberships to the channel with perks tiered all the way up. That's right, all you Bat Divided League, I know she left. Have a great week next week. Celebrating Thanksgiving. Hopefully you enjoy it. We will not be here, but don't worry. As you see, if you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube, you are going to get content on a daily basis, 7 days a week. We're putting out show clips from old episodes that AI thinks you all will enjoy. So there truly is always time for Star Wars time. We'll see you in 2 weeks to break down E1 and E2 of Skeleton Crew S1. And I am excited. I really like today's pregame. It definitely got me more jacked than I thought I could get for this series. So let's fucking do it. All right. There is always time for Star Wars time, my friends. Point them to StarWarsTime.net on the internet. Best way to get looped into our socials on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, our Discord, all that fun stuff. All right. Let's go. We speak your names. If you listen to the Star Wars Time show, the Force will be with you always. Uh-oh. What happened? Oh, I forgot. I'm not in.